Yeah. Hold on. Let me get my hands of applause. Hold on. Wait a minute. We here. It's Sunday. Yes, it is Sunday. We are here. Poetry. Sunday. Yeah, talk with the poet. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Hey, y'all already know what it is. It's TK the Poet. You already know it. So you and if I spoke it, you already know what that means. Y'all wrote it. Hey, if y'all missed Friday was fire. It was fire. Poetry After Dark. Y'all gotta tune in on Friday. It'd be a lot of hot poetry being spit on Friday. So tune in on Fridays at 9 o'clock. I'll catch you here. You'll go or go on a YouTube channel, Black Room Media. Check out all our lives, all our content that's on the YouTube channel. Please support. Hey, Facebook, a Poetry Life group. Join the group. If you watching, please like, please share the broadcast, share the broadcast. Support the brother. Sure, that's the only way we can grow if we support each other. But also, we on Twitter, the real TK the poet. We going live on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Hey, we doing multiple platforms right now. So, hey, stay tuned. Hey, one thing and two things that we do have coming up. Got a little announcements. Yes, Glen Chicken. We gonna start throwing events at Glen Chicken. Our poetry spot. We having our grand opening September 2nd. Full of poetry, dope poetry being spit. Hey, it's gonna be live in the face. Got so much stuff's going on. We selling merchandise. We got our shirts and stuff. You got to search merch. Hey, so you know later on announcements will be made about what's going on or what's transpiring on September 2nd. Right now, I'm getting the flyers getting done. So when the flyers get done, I will put them out there. And also, we selling tickets. So purchase the tickets. All the information will be provided this week. So stay tuned with that. And remember, it's Poetry Life. It's poetry. We here to spit that poetry. Look at my shirt. You know, look at my shirt. Me versus me. I'm my own competition, and that is a fact. So we got a couple people that's in the backstage gonna bring to the stage first. First, gonna bring up the reigning champion, the two-time champion of Poetry Life. Yes, he is. He is named Ben the Human. Ben the Human. Hey, come up. Let's see what Hold on. Hey, are you up? Come on. Oh, there we go. There we
What it
go.
do?
Finn the Human. What's up with you, man?
I ain't living a dream. You know how it go.
Hey, living a dream. Hey, I wish I was living my dream. I don't know. My dream last night was kind of crazy. I don't know if I want to live that dream. That dream was kind of crazy. I ain't gonna hold
I ain't say what kind of dream I was living. I just said I was living.
you. Most definitely, most definitely. Hey, also I'm gonna bring up, Shay from New York. I'm gonna see what part of New York you from. Hey, what's going on with you,
Hey,
Shay?
what's up? What's up? What's up?
What part of New York you from?
Right, I'm in Brooklyn right now.
Brooklyn? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
It's over there by Cortland Ave. What's
No, I
over there
live
by
in Flatbush. Flatbush.
that bush? Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
I know a little bit about New York, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah.
I'm familiar from the parts of the neck of the woods. But hey,
Yeah.
well, how your weekend be going for you?
Oh, it's been going good. It's chill. I just came
Just
from an event on the other side of Brooklyn. It was chill.
okay. So tell me, how is the poetry scene in New York?
Oh, it's nice. I ain't gonna lie. Like since COVID, like everything coming back out where everybody's like going to events and stuff. But a lot of like when COVID happened, a lot of things was going online. A lot of stuff we was doing like poetry online. And I was just like writing mostly, like writing and just like working. So now that they like we can go back to the venues and stuff like that, they're opening up and mostly they be in like Brooklyn and Manhattan. So they real dope out here.
Okay. Well, introduce yourself to the people so they can know who you are.
All right, y'all. What's up, y'all? My name is Sha. My Instagram is Sha underscore raw RAWW. I'm a poet, musician, artist. Just here to support and show love.
Okay. Show love. Hey, go to her page. Look her up. Hey, she got some dope material. Hopefully, she gonna bless the mic tonight. Go ahead and
Yeah.
get some fire poem out. You know.
Definitely want to hear that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. So, do you think there's a difference in a poetry from the South than up north? Uh,
Yeah, there's a big difference
So,
because yeah, is a big difference. Like the skill set, because I like I was telling you before, like my skill set, like how I learned like to flow is from battle rap. Like my
hmm
brother, he's a battle rapper, so that's how I kind of got my flow and like, my little niche and how I do it. But
hmm
yeah, definitely, it's more like people say like people from New York is more aggressive and more like but the aggression comes from like just the city itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I was born in Philly though, so
Oh,
like a lot of Philly artists too. Like, yeah, I was born in Philly, so like a lot of Philly artists, like that's my background. So
okay.
it's like once I moved to New York, it's like dang, now you know what I'm saying, I could get with it. You know what I'm saying, with the hardcore and the flow, and then the battle rap definitely, like I said, helped me with my flow.
Okay. So, since I'm a little bit into battle rap. So, who's your favorite battle rapper?
Oh, I got a lot. Prez Mafia, Ishmula, it's a bunch of them. There's so many. Chess, Tay Rock. I like all of them. Like, it's a lot.
So, who you think is the best in the game right now?
Oh, probably like Tay Rock. He's like a vet. He's been battling since he was like 15, 16. Like,
Mhm.
it's either Tay Rock or Chess. Chess is like in his 20s now, and I've been watching him since he was like 15. So yeah, those are the two like ranking high top right now.
So, you don't think Easy to Block is one of the best battle rappers now?
In Philly, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. He's one of them too. He been taking him out. I ain't gonna lie. He been taking him out. Like when he come on stage, he really when he first spit, he be like, "Yo, I'm different." And every time he open his mouth, I'm like, "Yo, that dude is crazy." He's very very versatile with his spitting and his writing. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, he became one of my favorite battle rappers. Is first is I Surf wasn't in my top five,
Oh
but
yeah, Surf
lately,
is nice.
lately, lately, Surf had been in my top five.
Uh
So
huh.
this is my top five, not in no order or anything like that. Surf, well, if this was my starting five to go to battle with,
Uh huh.
if we were on a 5.5, I would have Surf, I would have Tay-Rock,
Uh huh.
I have Easy.
Ooh.
I have New Jersey Twerk,
Oh
and I
yeah.
have Charlie Clips.
Yeah, they're good. Those people are all good.
Y'all hating on that boy Daylight, man.
I mean, they
Hey,
like cool, but he had one good battle with Tay Rock, and after that, I mean, that King Bow was kind of high, King Los was kind of high, so
Yeah.
that Tay Rock was the only battle people just been going off of. So
Yeah.
they like need to come outside.
Daylight,
Uh-huh.
Daylight, he was something different, man. With the thing that stood out with him to me was that he was in his own lane. He would come up with his metaphors and his analogies, and nobody else had to understand it. But then when people finally started looking into what he was saying, they're like, "Oh, this motherfucker cold."
Yeah.
So he was writing completely different. He wasn't just dropping gun bars and other bullshit and shit like.
Yeah.
He was thinking outside the fucking box with his pen game.
But
Hmm.
So
but he was known for his antics. Let's be for real now. Daylight was known for his antics. Yeah, he had a pen, but known for his antics. Shitting on the stage, like, come on.
yeah, he
Nah.
had a couple of the gas shit. Yeah, he did. But his pen was dope. So
Hmm.
Yeah, his pen always been dope, but that would be my starting five. What
Yeah.
would, what would be your starting five, Shy?
Oh, dang, that's hard one. My starting five, Ishmula, Tay Rock, Chess, Easy to Block, and Prez Mafia, probably.
How can you put Prez Mafia? I understand Prez Mafia. I like
Yeah, he is
I like,
savage. He
but
is.
Prez Mafia chess ain't truck artists. They gonna choke up, like they not gonna get through their rounds.
Nah, I don't know. They always come crazy. I don't know. They be coming
What? They
crazy.
always come crazy. Nah,
They
we not doing
always
that.
come
They do
crazy.
not always come crazy.
Bro, you gotta look at his recent stuff. Ishmula done gained weight. I think he had another kid and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, like I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
like
those Moolah, yeah. But
lines is
Prez Mafia, uh,
I seen some of his recent battles. He still got it. He's crazy with it. It'd be like silent, but it was like once you listen, like you said, with daylight, once you listen to what he's saying, I'm like, nah, this dude is wilding. Like he going crazy.
So you saying Prince Mafia can beat Twerk?
Ooh, nah, I didn't say that. But they could go head to head. They could go head. That would be a good battle. That would definitely be a good battle though. Cause Ishmula beat Chess, and he's one of the like younger dudes. So it's like I don't know. It's different though, cause Prez ain't been on the scene, but I think that would be a good battle though. That would definitely be a good battle.
Most definitely, it would. It would. You know, I
Yeah.
think I can get in battle rap and smoke all of them though. You know, I'm like an OG of this battle rap shit, man. I've been watching battle rap since 2004,
yeah,
2003,
yeah,
when it was on TV, Lions Den, you know, fight,
yeah. Remember? Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Jen versus
Freestyle
Serious
Friday.
Jones.
Remember? You remember Freestyle Fridays?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
Brian,
look, I'm a long historian of battle rap. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Look, I really can smoke them though. My little nephew talking about T Top can smoke. Man, I'm like, I smoke T Top.
Oh, T Top is nice though. T Top is
Yeah, he's
good.
nice, but I'll smoke his fat ass.
Uh
T
oh.
Top, if you listening, yeah, I
Uh
said it. TK the poet.
uh.
Yeah,
Uh.
that's how I feel. But you know what? I got one guess I'm gonna bring up. You know, I'm gonna bring up exclusive. Shout out to exclusive.
Hi.
Shalom. Hey, how you doing, darling?
Good. How are you?
All is well. Hey, Finn. Hey, TK. How's everybody's weekend going?
Good. Very chill. Chill.
No,
Terrible? Wait, what?
I think everybody.
What y'all say? Did y'all say terrible?
No, I said it's good. It's going good. It's very chill.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody said it's going terrible. I was going to say,
Oh
God damn.
no.
look, we were just chopping up about some battle rap. You know, that penmanship. You know. But hey, that's one thing that I feel like poetry is really missing. It's the penmanship, you know. Like
Yeah.
that, we went to a poetry slam, man. I'm like, they told stories and they were a little dramatic about it, but it wasn't no double or triple entendres, no schemes, and like I was looking for the art in it. You know, I could tell a story and be dramatic about it. Like that ain't nothing. But where's the pen game, man? Let me think. Like, oh damn, that was fire. I didn't hear none of that. You know.
Each their own, man. Like me, I write for what I want to read, man. I write
Mm.
I write the shit that I want to
No
get back.
doubt about it.
Mm.
Other people
So,
like stuff.
so Sha, what is your style? Where you get your inspiration from?
Definitely battle rap. That's where I got mine from.
Okay,
And yeah, reading certain and then life experiences too. Like battle rap was kind of like the first inspiration, and then like my life experiences, like that was like the second inspiration for me just to write.
okay. Do you have to be in a specific mind zone to start writing, or do you just write sporadic?
Sometimes it's sporadic. Like I could be at an event and a word will come to me and I'll just write the word down. And then I'll add it to something I already got. It depends. Like could be going about my day and different words will come to me, like not in full sentences, but words will come to me and I'll just write down the words and then it'll be added to like a piece I'm doing or something. So it depends.
Okay, okay. We're gonna bring up Microphone McFinn. He's in the building, y'all. Microphone
What's
McFinn.
going on, Seven?
Hello.
You know, we got Shy in the building. You know, it's an honor to have her up in the building. You know, I've been trying to get her up here for the longest. She popped in one time and popped out. She was working. So
Yeah.
we got her here now. I'm gonna take advantage of her time real quick.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you done built up the anticipation, talking about that flow, talking about getting inspiration from battle rap. We
Yeah.
want to.
I know, right?
Right. Y'all ready? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we ready. We ready. That's what
All
we're
right,
here.
all right. Let's see. Okay. All right. This one is called Music Help Me. And I wrote this. This is basically, like I said, my life experience through my mom and stuff like that. So it goes like this. I felt hate, I never tasted it. Music helped me get through a lot of shit. I wrapped my heart up in silence, ready for the move. Music helped me heal from the time my mother was not there. Like the time he touched me, or like the time that he asked me, do I want him to get in trouble? And I replied no. So innocent was I and dare not look him in the face. Music helped me heal from the time my mother was not there. Like I was prescribed this medicine. It was called I Draw Inspiration from Mishaps. No storyteller, everything I write real. My pen was dipped in, covered in blood, shamed, robed in guilt. Secrets was my tiptoe. I hug myself when I make a bad move. I'm nice, well, watch how I slide off. Sick of the antics. Having your cake and eat it too. Starving artists, cause I be kicking and screaming, kicking and panicking, trying not to go back to a place where they walked over you. Writing so the thoughts that enter my head don't take me back to a place where I was less visible. I be scared too, but I'm starving. Think that's one piece, y'all. That's called Music Help Me.
Fire. Fire. Hold up. Hold up. No, before y'all go crazy, hey man, I gotta hear it one more time. Run one more time, man. I mean, I apologize, y'all, but hey, if you don't mind.
Oh, you want to run it back? All right, I got you. Music helped me heal from the time my mother was not there. Like the time he touched me, or like the time that he asked me, do I want him to get in trouble? When I replied no. So innocent was I and dare not look him in the face. Music helped me heal from the time my mother was not there. Like I was prescribed this medicine. It was called I Draw Inspiration from Mishaps. No storyteller, everything I write real. My pen was dipped in, covered in blood, shamed, robed in guilt. Secrets was my tiptoe. I hug myself when I make a bad move. I'm nice, will watch how I slide off. Sick of the antics. Having your cake and eat it too. Starving artists, cause I be kicking and screaming, kicking and panicking, trying not to go back to a place where they walked over you. Writing so the thoughts that enter my head don't take me back to a place where I was less visible. I be scared too, but I'm starving.
Fire. Fire.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you.
Fire. Straight fire.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to hear it again, man. That was fire. That was deep though. That was
Thank
deep.
you.
That was.
Appreciate that. I really do. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
What y'all think about it?
Man, I like that. I like that. Pen dipped in blood.
That's my favorite part too.
Yeah.
Secrets being the tiptoe. I love that part.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a favorite part. I think I kind of like the whole thing. Like, I know somebody who spit like you, not write like you. I'm not saying y'all write the same.
Yeah.
But a really, really close friend of mine that passed, she used to spit like, and you could just tell, like, when I come in, if I heard her voice, she spit with such fire and passion,
Yeah.
and it was nobody like it. And you're the only other person I could say had that. I can't even say like growl in her voice, but you know how some people spit and it's just like they're trying to be something, and then some people spit because they are something.
Yeah.
I can't explain that, but you got a passion in your voice, like and I only heard that once.
Oh wow, thank you so much for that.
It's just raw to it. Yeah.
Period.
Man, I'm glad to have you here, man. I'm glad. Hey, microphone and fan, how's your weekend, man?
Man, busy, bro. I just got off work, man. I just been ripping and running, bro.
Okay. Exclusive. How was your weekend?
My weekend has been weekending. I finished a whole nother piece. So I'm glad I got the opportunity to write this weekend. Because it's been a minute since I've started and finished something from top to bottom. So not like I took a fragment, then I stopped writing it, then I went back to it. This one I just kind of gave the weekend to. So it's been a productive weekend to keep my mind busy.
Okay. Man, I still haven't wrote nothing new.
We know.
Look, whenever I do, it's that ish.
Right.
You understand? So, I let everything marinate until my hands start to shake. Once my hands start to shake, like okay, yeah, it's ready. But I got some oldies and goodies though. But I had a question for y'all though. No, no. Why you shaking your head, exclusive?
Just go ahead.
You don't
I
even know
don't,
what I'm about to ask.
you're right. I was going to say, I don't even know what it is. I just feel like,
Because we
I
Facebook,
just feel like, go ahead.
we already know it. That's why.
We're not going to talk about these scandalous women. Not today. We're not going to do that, as Finn the human say. We ain't gonna talk about these scandalous women.
It's all good. I feel like Shy got my back.
I got you.
Look,
I got you.
listen, I want to take a different approach. I know I made the headline. The headline. Everybody's in the comment section.
I knew
Shout out
that's
to
what
y'all.
was coming. That's why I rolled my eyes in the top of my head. Because
But
I figured it's going to spill into here.
yeah, this topic is a little bit different. I really want to know what was the first time y'all y'all fell in love?
Mm.
What was the first time you fell in love? And what was that feeling? What was your thoughts? What was your emotions? We're gonna start. Hold on. We're gonna juggle up and we're gonna start with being a human.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
I fell in love in high school, man. In high school, I was in love with that woman until about a year ago. So over 20 plus years, I was in love with that
So, what made you fall in love with that person?
woman. Chemistry, attraction, uh, the feeling of security with each other. It felt like when the world was against us, we were a powerhouse together against everything else. To me, it felt powerful together. We were.
Okay, so this question has to come. I'm gonna ask all y'all the same questions and stuff like that because I really want to know your mindset. So, what made you fall out of love with that person?
Mm.
With that person, man, it was a facade. It was it was fake security. It was a bull being pulled over my eyes, making you feel like you safe in the flock, but she was a wolf the whole time. You know what I'm
So, how long did it take for you to see that though?
saying? You get glimpses of it in situations. You get glimpses of it, and then you forgive, and then you try to work things out. You hope things get better and things change, and then in this scenario, it just progressively got worse and worse and worse until
Okay. So, do you feel like that was a waste of time?
I mean, it was a waste of time in the sense that it's not going to be forever. But I mean, I learned a lot from it, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if it hadn't happened. So it's not anything I'm necessarily bitter about. I'm just not going to make that same mistake again.
Okay, okay. So, microphone with Finn. Let me hear from you. Was the first time you fell in love? And what was your emotion, your feeling, your thoughts?
Yeah. Um, I love now still a lot of my exes. I love my first like real relationship, my girlfriend from my first relationship. I've loved a lot of women, but I've never been in love.
Mm, talk about it. Why is that?
And so I had this whole conversation with somebody recently, couple like maybe a couple months ago, earlier this year, and we were trying to define that, and she was asking the same question, like why. And I came up with this. I said, love is an action. It's something you give to other people, right? It's like when I love somebody, I do for them. I provide for them. I'm there for them. So it's something I do. It's not something I feel in particular. Love is something I do. Being in love is something somebody else does for you.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So when somebody else is making you happy and making you smile and making you and loving you the way you needed to be loved, then you're in love with them because you catch those butterflies because they're doing it right. And you feel that certain kind of way because they're there for you and you know what I'm saying? They make you feel that. I didn't have nobody to make me feel like that yet.
So,
Love has been
out of,
unbalanced I'm a giver. And so love has been unbalanced in my past.
That's a good one. I like that one.
okay. So, exclusive. What about you?
For me, my answer is probably going to be off grid per usual. I thought I was in love plenty of times. But love to me only existed in the concept that I understood it. And up until recently, it's always been tainted. So I'm kind of where McFan is to some aspect. I don't know if I've ever been in love. First of all, I had to learn how to love me first, and then offer that to somebody else. And a lot of times when I thought I was in love, it was because somebody, like he said, was fulfilling a part of me that was empty, that I was responsible for filling myself. So with that being said, I don't even know if I've been loved properly enough to say that I was in love with anybody. I've had butterflies, I've been in lust, I've been in puppy love, I've been in all those things. But to say to the mature structure of it, yeah, I don't know if I've hit that yet.
But I mean, you've been married before, haven't you?
I have.
So you wasn't in love when you got married?
Um, the first time I thought I was in love, I was 19 years old, but I was with somebody that our relationship was like Ike and Tina. So does somebody that put their hands on you really love you? But I didn't know any better then. So to me, it was the norm because it was what I grew up with. It was something that I saw. So I didn't think anything wrong of it. The second time I loved him, but I got married out of obedience.
Mhm.
You got married out of obedience.
Yeah. I tell the story all the time, TK. I got married because I love this person, but I wasn't necessarily ready to marry them because there were red flags there. I had doubt, I had PTSD, I had baggage. I was kind of like, I don't know, this don't feel right. So I let somebody convince me in the name of church and religion that it was me being insecure or me being basically like me not recognizing a good thing because of things I have been through in my past. So that person was like, oh, you need to let your guard down. My pastor at the time, may he rest in peace, was like, yeah, you need to take the guards down, the walls down. This person is supposed to be your husband. And so, out of obedience and ignorance, because I knew that I didn't know what real love and real relationship and being a healed person with a healed person or a whole person with a whole person was like, I went with that because I respected his advice. I thought he could see something in me that I didn't yet see in myself. So, out of obedience, out of respect, to me, it was like my father saying, hey, I think this is a good choice for you. And me saying, okay, well, all my choices prior to this was fucked up. I don't think I was choosing right. So, this person must know better. So, yeah, out of obedience. And I stand on that.
So do you think he loved you though? The best
Um,
he could.
to the best of his definition of it, yeah.
And what do you mean by his definition?
Because I feel like somebody that you love, you wouldn't cheat on. Somebody that you love, you wouldn't lie to. Again, I say all the time, I found out this man had 6 kids outside of the 4 that I knew he had. I found out he had a second wife that he never told me about in a whole nother state. I found out a lot of things, but I don't think that love would leave you blind like that.
Right.
I don't think that love would manipulate you and walk you into a false sense of reality.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So to the best of his ability, oh, well, I loved you and I ain't want to tell you because I thought that you wouldn't get with me or whatever was in his finite mind. May he rest wherever he's at. Whatever was in his mind as to, yeah, I love her or whatever, then yeah, I mean, I can't really say. I, I mean, he died with a tattoo of my name on his chest. I don't know. It's the first and last tattoo he had. So if that's love, that's his definition of love, then yeah, he loved me immensely. But
So how about this? Outside of finding out the, the dishonest, the manipulative behavior, if that was never discovered, did he treat you well? Would you have considered it to be love?
yeah, I would have considered it love. This was a person that would carry my purse, go to the store for me, even when he didn't have a car. He would still try to make gestures. He would walk to my house from where he lived at, which was probably like an hour when we were in our courting church phase, things like that. And we wasn't even laying up, like we wasn't even having sex. So yeah, in order to hold out in that type of regard, I'm pretty sure he did love me, but I don't know if he knew how to the fullest extent of.
Not making any excuses or anything, but I am like putting this in perspective, realizing that he lied before he loved. He lied on the front end, and then he loved you later. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he loved you and then lied to you. I'm just putting that out there.
It was definitely already in him. And I'm not saying that there aren't things that I didn't find out ahead of time, which is why I said the red flags were there. So I wasn't on green go. I was more like, I don't know, because some of this math ain't mathing. So I didn't go into it like, oh, this is going to be great. And when we get into it, it's going to change. I already knew he was flawed ahead of time. I just thought I was being over dramatic or over expecting by saying, oh, you got that flaw of lying and manipulation, so I ain't trying to get with you. So in the case of that, it was like I was being convinced that my thoughts on that were incorrect. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't have married him.
That most, hey, no, that's right. I mean, if you knew, you wouldn't do it. But I'm gonna give. Hold on. I want to give a special shout out to April Martin. She's in the comments. And shout out to April. You know, and I haven't forgot about you. Trust and believe. I haven't forgot about you.
Damn, election time.
And you know, Pastor Curry. He's in the building. Eric Curry. In the,
hey, Pastor.
I have a special person comment. The House of Judah. Shout out to Judah. I sent you an invite, man. Pull up. I got some couple questions to ask you, man. Pull up, Judah. I dropped the.
He never loved her. Look at Judah on my side.
You know, hey, the comment. Hey, the link is in the comment section. Pull up if you can. But that's most definitely true. Exclusive. That's most definitely true. If a lot of us would have known, if I would have known about my first wife, all the lies that I know she's gonna tell me, and all the look, I would have speed right past it. I'm trying to tell you, but you know, you live and learn. Life is full of lessons that we have to learn. Sometimes,
and I understand people generally tend to introduce themselves with their representative. I get that. You know what I mean? And as you kind of get into the thick of it, some people are like that. As you kind of get into the thick of it, you become more transparent, more vulnerable, more telltale. So at some point, there isn't even things that you have to ask another person. They'll just share it with you, tell it to you because they want you to know them to the depths. Again, I always say, keep it a buck. Let me make the decision based off 100, at least 99% of all the facts so that I'm making the decision as honestly as possible with you being as honest as possible. Some of the finite details you probably just won't remember. It's not necessarily that you lied, but I can't tell you what I had on 2 weeks ago on a Thursday. I think it was a pair of jeans and a blue shirt, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, last Thursday I had on $1 million Rolex and some Cartier earrings and Tiffany bracelets, and I was kicking it in some Balenciaga standing on the corner of 5th and Elm or wherever the fuck. Like, you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. And so yeah, that representative was representing, honey, until it didn't.
Okay. But I don't want to forget about Shy, but Shy, if you could come to the mic, I don't want to forget about it.
She doing like 1,000 things.
Look,
Yeah,
she
you know, I'm
multitasking.
ironing clothes. I'm
Look,
doing a
she
lot.
Get it,
multitasking.
Rose.
But one question for you.
Yeah.
Same question. When was the first time you fell in love? And
Oh,
why? And what
I'm
was
not
the
gonna lie. I haven't been in love, but I've loved. You know, I felt like I forgot who said it. Somebody was like they felt like they were giving more in a relationship. I forgot who said it. But yeah, so I've loved because I know how to love. I've been given unconditional love, and that's what I give out to others, and especially when I love them, whether in a relationship or not, friendship, whatever. So I've learned to love unconditionally, regardless if somebody does something to me, if I'm upset. Even me, I forgive quickly too. So that's a part of loving too. So I've never been in love, but I've always loved. Even as friends, relationship, whatever it was, I've always loved, but I've never experienced being in love yet.
So
So
can I?
why? So hold on. So what kept you from being in love?
Ooh, I don't know. Like, I guess it was because I give more than what I'm receiving. You know what I'm saying? I give more than and then sometimes it's draining when you're giving a lot more of yourself and you're not getting it back to like refill or replenish yourself. It's draining sometimes. So I know I had to like remove myself from a lot of people because it was draining me because I was giving love that I knew was love and what I was taught that what was love. So it was draining me a lot of the time. So I just usually removed myself after a while because very much draining to me.
Sean, let me come in here. I want to ask you a quick question because I do resonate with a lot of the things you're saying, especially the part about like forgiving, because I forgive so wholly,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
WHOLELY, like so holy that I forget that you did certain things. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like people say they forgive and then they still hold grudges, or I forgive but I don't forget. Like I will
yeah,
forget
yeah,
completely that this transpired because I forget. I don't hold no. So that resonates with me completely. But I do want to ask you, because in my case, I've been loved,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's like almost like let's say the love languages, because that's a whole nother conversation. But let's just say my love language is gifts, and I love in gifts,
Right.
and so I may need gifts back, but
Yeah,
I get time back, or I get, what I'm saying, words of affirmation back.
yeah,
Like I love in all languages, by
right.
the way, but I think they're all equally important at times. But my point is, do you feel like you've been loved back just as strongly? Not saying like this is stronger than the other, but just not in the way that you needed it or was receiving it at the time.
Yeah, I felt like I've been loved, but not the way I wanted it. The way, like you said, the way I thought love should be perceived, because the way I give it, it wasn't giving back the same. So yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm my fault. I'm sorry to take this over because I
No.
definitely want to ask TK the same question that you asked the rest of us. But I'm just focusing on this shot because I came out of a relationship and I had to, every time I go through my healing process, I look back and see, and I recognize that she loved me strongly,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't in the way that I received it. But that doesn't make it any better or worse. It's just that it wasn't what I needed. I guess, how do you like how do you reconcile that? Like, or is it like, what? I learned something about myself. I need to be loved like this, and that's all to it.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I know this other girl, she's a poet, and I was explaining to her my level of love. My level of love is gifts too. Like I give, like that's one of my forms of love. So when I was with this person, and she was telling me, she was like, "Well, you gave her your hand, and you wasn't giving anything else. So she was taken from my hand. She didn't care about anything else." So like as a friend, she was telling me, yeah, she didn't care about the love that you was giving her. She cared about what you was giving her, like physically. So I was like, dang, that's crazy, because that's one of my forms of love. And she was like,
Right.
well, you have to get out that mindset of thinking just because somebody don't love you in the way that one of your affirmations of love doesn't mean that it's not love. And so it was kind of like mind boggling for me, because I'm like, well, one of my forms of love is gifts. You know what I'm saying? Why I didn't get half the stuff that I was giving out of love, out of caring, out of paying attention to a person. And she just kind of told me, she was like, well, it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect how people love in the way that they love, in the way that they were.
So I'm gonna
You know,
fade to black on this last question. Then, do you need it the same way you give it personally?
no, that's what I thought I needed it the way I gave it, because that's not how people are. That's not how we function though. But I thought that was what it was. I thought because I give gifts. I thought I was gonna need somebody that give me gifts too. But it's not. That's not the way people think though. Yes, that people have different ways of loving, and that wasn't her way of loving. So
What I'm hearing is a lot of y'all are saying the same things that I'm saying, but y'all are using different terminology. So
yeah,
when I'm saying in love, me being in love is a love that I am putting into it. It's the love that beyond what I normally would with a relationship. I'm in this and I'm in it for the long haul. And so I'm investing more than I typically would. Like I can love somebody and leave them with no problem. You know what I'm saying? If it's not working out, if things are not being reciprocated the right way or the chemistry is off, I can love them and have all the love for them in the world. But to be in love means that I'm in this, I'm invested in this, and I'm making an effort for this. And so that I see the difference in what y'all are saying in that. But I just wanted to clarify on where it is from my perspective.
yeah.
So I guess to jump in and respond to that, Finn, by that definition of me being in it for the long haul, I've been there a million times. I've given love that way a million times. It wasn't reciprocated to the point where I felt like I was able to let go fully and engulf myself in love. It wasn't a healthy, like like a tennis match. It wasn't like where I was serving and volleying. It wasn't like I was sending it and receiving it back the way I needed it. So for me, it wasn't being, to me, quote unquote, in love, because like you said, I was still able to get up and leave when it was time for me to get up and leave without, I wasn't really ready to compromise myself. Like I was never, quote unquote, stupid over nobody. I was never head over heels. I was never lost in love. And so that's why I never say I was in love. I've loved people and I've been loved. I've been loved by some really amazing women who I've loved back. They just didn't love me like I needed them to love. And so that kept me from being in love with them. And that's my definition. So I guess we have different ways of looking at it. That's all.
Because
Like you said, different terminology.
because the same thing you're saying as I'm saying is, I've been in relationships where I loved the person, but I knew it wasn't a definitely going to be something I wanted for the rest of my life. Then I had the one that I was in love with, that I was making the effort to make it for the rest of my life. And then when I saw that it wasn't, that's when I fell out of love. And that's when, I can love that person still, and we can be cool or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If circumstances, but to be in love means that I am in it, giving what I have available to give. You know what I'm saying? Hoping it's reciprocated, but it's not dependent on the other person for me to express my love. You know what I'm saying? TK, you on mute, bruh.
That's why y'all couldn't hear me. I was on mute the whole time. I'm trying to talk. I'm like, Finn, you just gonna over talk me? That's what we doing today? You gonna over talk? Okay, okay. But no, we had someone, but they had dropped back down. But uh, Eric Harry says, are you not entertained? He in the building. It's time to be entertained. But so, microphone and Finn, you asked me a question.
Yeah, I want you to answer the same one that you asked the rest of us.
Have I? When the first time I've been in love? Well, what is the definition of being in love first?
We all got our own definitions. We just making it up on the fly, my guy. So
So making up on the fly has I've been my first time being in love. Oh man. I have to think about that because what is my definition? What's my definition of being in love? Now I have love for people, but being in love is that where like you can't live without someone, or you like if that person leaves you, you devastated, or I mean, I'm not understanding being in love. What is in love?
Okay, so I mean, what you just said is something unhealthy. I mean, what you just said. I mean, if you're saying,
I'm just trying to understand.
well, I'm saying if you're taking it to being in love is you can't breathe without that person holding you up every second of the day, then that's just fucking unhealthy. And I would not say that's being in love. So, I mean, for me, being in love means that you're in it. You're giving everything that you can possibly give to build it, to make it something that it could possibly be. That for me, that's what my definition would be.
Well, I mean,
And so for me, it's a little different. But go ahead, TK.
so I guess in saying that I feel like I guess this time, this marriage that I'm in now, that this is probably the first time I've been in love, because to do things that I haven't ever done, I'm I'm willing to be more invested, and yeah, so I guess, because all the other time I really didn't give a fuck, So it's like, that's why I'm really trying to think about being in love. Like, have I ever been in love with a chick where I felt like I was solely invested in that person? I'm like, nah, because all the other ones, I'm like, I don't care, you stay or go. That's another one. Shit. Uh, what my partner Puka Leroy? Shout out to Puka Leroy. He said, "One leave, another come. Got to tie my shoe for another run." Hey, I gotta tie my shoes for another one. You go. Say, hey, I ain't tripping. But I think this is like the first time where I'm like, oh no, I can't let her go. Let me try to fix it. Let me try to do something that. So I guess this is the first time that I actually been in love that I felt like, okay, what do I need to do to fix it instead of just throwing the whole thing away in the trash can. So I gotta say, but I guess this is the first time, and me just realizing that is crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's crazy. I just got
Oh,
that's crazy.
You
Stop
exclusive.
it. Stop.
We're not doing that. We not.
But I'm
I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. God damn it. I'm
With
doing
that being
it. I'm
said,
doing all of it. That's so. Oh my God. That's so.
if I'm gonna keep it a buck, I gotta keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because I hear everybody talk about love. Like, man, I love my sister, but I'm not gonna compromise things that I would compromise for a significant other for my
mhm.
sister. I love my homeboys, but I'm not going to do things for my homeboys that I would do for a significant other that I'm trying to build and grow with. You know what I'm saying? So I can love people, and that love can be, for a lifetime without being in love, and then I can be in a relationship and love somebody knowing that this might be as far as it goes, and I'm okay with that. But the one time that I was in love, it was something like, this is what I want, and this is what I want to grow and build, and so that's what I would put the.
I have a
But
poem for this moment.
okay, go ahead. Drop one out.
I don't want to fall in love. I want to fall in lust. Let's fall in the trust for once. Let us take our time. I'm not in a rush. Can we become one mentally before we physically touch, or am I asking for too much? I just want your time. And it's crazy. Ladies will share their bodies, but are afraid to share their mind. And I'm not looking for no fairy tale kiss and hug type of love. I want something real, like the brother of chance. And after all the bright lights and romance have died, the fireworks have finally fallen from the sky, her love will be the drug to keep me high, like fives. I'm always by her side, like her arms are. I'm in her corner, like three R's are. I love you where your beauty right past where your scars are. I want to love you at your worst, flaws and all. Yeah, I'm a Mac fan, but still she remains the apple of my eye. Mac, Apple, I. Ask Siri. I'm so serious about you. We can kick it like Kung Fu, give my heart to you like John Q. If loving you was wrong, consider me a crook. With no repentance, I'll face my sentence like I look at a book. You are my favorite chapter of this happily ever after. And we can unite minds as long as we have the right lines. And I can spend a lifetime just studying the curves of your words. As long as we're on the same page. I take my time. and we slow. See, we've been blessed with nothing less than a life of paradise, like casinos, and we know that true love is hard to find, like good gas prices. That's what we have is priceless. That's why at night when you stay sleeping, I stay awake speaking blessings into your being, defeating any demon that come within your region while you peacefully dream, and like you always stay sneezing, I always stay blessing you. Praying that all of creation is protecting you, thanking God that I met with you, praying that He protecting you when I'm not next to you. You sexy little blessing you. You make me want to fall in like and lust and love. I want to fall in all into all of the above. I want something so beautiful that dreams could only dream of, have, and imagine. She yearns for me. A love that burns for me internally, eternally. Lovesick, infirmary. I want to look in your soul and see my reflection. No love and affection. A heart that doesn't hide behind lies and deception, so I don't need no protection. See, that's the best part. We don't use cheat codes like up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. No, that would be a contradiction of how we live it. Never giving me a reason to doubt you. It's like I have a PhD in uology, so I want to know everything about you. I want to take my time and learn your mind. Have mental sex with your intellect. Impregnate your emotion with devotion. See, commitment is nothing. Boys become boyfriends, but men become husbands. You probably think I spent my whole life just hiding from love. Nah, love, I just spent the lifetime waiting for you. Why would I give these other women something that was created for you? My heart was never mine before we met. I big gave it to you. It was just my job to protect and save it until you came to claim it. The word love simply can't explain it. My heart can hardly contain it. I have just no choice but to go with the flow and enjoying it in amazement. And whenever we facing any problems, we'll work it out. Like Zumba. She be my queen to be in me. I be her faithful king of Zamunda. You capture my heart like Kunta. And I want you. I want you to love me like I love you, like we love to simply sit and talk. Hold hands and take long walks and make moonlit memories. I want to lie in your mind for days at a time, and eventually I want to fall in like with you. Husband and wife and spend the rest of my life with you. I was wondering if that would be all right with you.
Fire.
That was really good. I like that one.
Fire.
Yeah, that was good. I don't want to fall in love. I want to fall in like. Ooh.
Yeah, that was fire.
Dang, so many pieces. I got stuck way back at Real and Chance, thinking about their little love show on VH1. Real Chance and Love.
Hey, Danny, but what I learned from the women last week on Poets, what I learned from the women last week, Danny, is that all I heard from all that is you just trying to get some pussy. You just want some pussy. Sex is the only thing that's important to you. That's what I'm getting from that whole thing you just said, Danny.
Hold on. Let me bring up. I'm gonna bring up a special guest real quick. I'm gonna bring up Judah the shooter. You know, the house of Judah. I'm gonna bring him up one time. You know, what's going on with you, man?
Yo, shalom, peace and blessings. What's up with you, King?
What's going on, darling?
All right.
Go ahead and tell these people about yourself real quick.
I'm scared of this one already. Go ahead.
What happened? What'd you say?
I said I'm scared of this one already, but go ahead.
What you want me to share with them? Like about my lifestyle?
About you, you know, what you got going on, you know, promote your book.
Yeah, so I am an author of 2 books now. I haven't released my second book. It's called The Unwritten Rules of Polygyny. Not to be confused with polygamy. There is a difference. I've been poly since 2005. I got 4 wives, and I'm courting a 5th wife now. I can read, write, and speak Hebrew. I counsel people all over the world. You name it. You just got to ask your questions and shit, I'll fire off. I am a Bible believer, not to be confused with your church goer or your religious type of person. I believe the Bible is my history, my heritage. So I do believe and confess that I'm an Israelite, the true Jews of the Bible, or the Yehudim in Hebrew. Hey, fire off. Any questions?
So I have to ask this question. The title of the book is called The Unwritten Rules, and then you write them in a book. So how is it unwritten if you write it down?
All right, so to get you to understand that, All right, so like me and you never met, right? Let's say me and you are at a public restroom, right?
Yeah.
Would you piss next to me in the stall?
Not if there was somewhere else to piss.
But generally speaking, would you piss next to me in the stall?
No.
No. Now,
No.
why is that?
Typically, it's a cultural courtesy. It's
There
just
we go. So we like to call it an unwritten rule. If me and you get into a fist fight, you're not gonna grab my dick, right?
No.
Why?
It's an unwritten rule.
It's an unwritten rule. You get what I'm saying? So it's the same way with my book. It's not necessarily written, but it's things you might want to know before you sign on that poly-dotted line. So unwritten rules are principles that one needs to know and understand before just jumping into a poly dynamic. And I'll end with this in case you got another question. Usually when people hear poly or polygyny dynamics, the outsiders think of threesomes, group sex. They think of girl on girl or my girl got a girlfriend. It's the first things they think about. They don't think about the family structure and the family dynamics. So in this book, I'm re-educating people and giving them a better perspective on how polygyny can be successful, even if you don't want to do polygyny. Because even in my book, I teach polygyny is not for everybody, but monogamy isn't either. It's kind of like what the Sister Exclusive said earlier about the man who I felt did not love her. Why? Because he cheated. I don't agree with men cheating. You a bitch ass nigga if you cheat. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people will confuse me with the cheater. So by me speaking out against cheaters, that's separating myself from them. You get what I'm saying? So it's giving somebody the perspective like, you know what? I never do poly, but at least Judah the Shooter's not lying to them women. At least he didn't manipulate the situation. At least he did what he taught in his book, not robbing the woman of her choice. You know what I'm saying? Giving her the option to say, yeah, or fuck no. You get what I'm saying? So these are a few things that why I would say unwritten rule. Hopefully that answers your question.
So I completely got Kinfolks. I completely got what you meant when you said unwritten rule. Thank you for blessing us. By the way, my quick question is just to, do you believe? Because I understand the Hebrew Israelite, like the thought process and the beliefs, but do you believe that the book? Of course, we all agree that it has fundamental truths of life, but do you believe that the Bible also has falsehoods or lies? Do you think it's 100% true?
All right. I first want to say, because one of your opening statements was you understand the thought process of the Hebrew Israelites. I want to be very clear with this. You don't. Let me tell you why. One, I'm not a part of any groups. I'm not affiliated with any groups. So although some of us subscribe to us being the true children of Israel, there's different doctrines. So the only way you would fully understand a Hebrew Israelite is if you sit down with each one of them individually, because all of us do not subscribe to the same school of thought. So I want to clarify that first. Secondly, I believe in the whole entire book. I do not believe there's no falsehoods in the Bible. What I do believe is man has opinion about the Bible and haven't fully studied it themselves. I also would say that if you read the Bible from a religious perspective, then yes, it will come off as if it's falsehood. But if you read the Bible from its purest form, there is no falsehood. I mean, we can talk biblically, historically, and archaeologically. You know what I'm saying? I deal with the Bible from all perspectives, and of course, linguistically, because even TK will tell you, I don't even read the Bible in English. I read the Bible in 100% Hebrew. Am I right, TK?
As it should be.
Yeah, I read Hebrew. I speak Hebrew, even on the front of my book. Right here on the front of my book, it says Hachukim Habilti Kitzavim Shalom Lashim Ravot Madddd Yehuda Yisrael, which is the name of my book and my name. You know what I'm saying? So I read, write, and speak biblical Hebrew as well. Hopefully
no, you did. Thank you for that.
To historically thinking that the Bible is accurate, to what degree people say. I said to historically thinking that the Bible is an accurate document, to what degree? Because you hear people talking about the Earth's existence only being such as 6,000 years old, and that's historically inaccurate. So, like, that's
why I say you got to talk to us individually, brother. One of your opening statements was, to what degree do you think? I don't think, I know. You know what I'm saying? So I want to correct that narrative. I don't think that the Bible is historical. I know it is to be historical. If you want me to give you some historical references right now, I can do that right now. You can go right now. You can go and type in what's known as the Black Obelisks. We can start with that, and you can learn about King Shalmaneser III. Well, one thing I want to say about him, King Shalmaneser III was an Assyrian. So what I'm about to share with you is not a biblical reference, but it is an historical reference. So if you refer to our records, the Hebrew records, the Black history records, you learn in 2 Kings 17-18 chapter about King Shalmaneser. That being said, he recorded how he took down and destroyed the children of Israel. But get this is where it's deep though. After he conquered the children of Israel under King Jehu in the 7th century, 722 BC, what this man did was he went and recorded on his walls was known. You can type this in. You think I'm lying. It's called the Siege of Lachish, or you can know it as the Destruction of Lachish. This dude got black people with afros on a wall with their hands up praying with fringes, and he records them as the children of Israel. Ironically, that's the same thing we read in the biblical account. You get what I'm saying? So if we want to talk historical and archaeologically, I can do this all day.
Okay, well, see, you and me are going to disagree on that, because I do find the Bible to be a work of fiction. I do not prescribe to it as a book that is written in historical proofs and facts. I think that the majority of it is fixed. There, I mean, there are some bits of reality in it, but I think most works of fiction do have bits of reality. So I guess I was asking more of, there are people that prescribe just by the genealogy from the Old Testament up until Jesus and to current times, prescribing that the earth in its existence is only 6,000 plus years old. And I'm asking, is that something that
okay, so this is where you're going wrong. First, I want to say no offense. If you want to disagree with the facts, that's on you. And I will also say that the Bible is my Black history book. So the book has nothing to do with you. I mean, your people is recorded in it, you know what I'm saying? But the Bible is a Black history book. So you not believing in my Black history book, that don't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is, the second time you just mentioned about the earth being 6,000 years, you're basing, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems that one of your reasonings for not believing in the Bible is because of a conversation that you've had with Bible believers telling you that the earth is 6,000 years old. Now, let me give you some correction. So in the English Bible, in Genesis 1:1, you read, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right?
Yeah.
But in Hebrew, guess what you read? Bereshit bara Elohim et hashemayim ve'et haaretz. The first word there is Bereshit. It means in a beginning. So I want to correct you. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, it says in a beginning, which means that the people who are saying that the earth is 6,000 years old and he basing off the pre-notion of Genesis 1:1, then by definition, they're already wrong. So which means that me and you would agree a whole lot more than what we disagree on. Simply because the first verse in the Bible says in a beginning. And this is coming from a person who teaches the language. So if you're using that as one of your evidence, then of course I'm gonna have to correct you with Genesis 1. Now,
no, that's not my evidence. I was asking a question just to see where you were coming from, because I know
the biblical aspect. I mean, they're clear.
Yeah, I know, but when you say historical, I hear other people talking about the historical evidence.
I'll go by what you need from them. Talk to me directly. This is why I told the other brother earlier. You got to talk to each one of us individually.
Yeah,
no offense, but just ask your questions to me and watch how I shoot. Remember, he told you I'm Judah the shooter. You about to find out why. But go ahead.
That's why I asked the questions for the clarification of where you were coming from. So I've also did a lot of study into the Bible and stuff, and so my reasons for disagreeing with its authenticity as what it's claiming to be is probably a conversation we could have night after night after night after night for a long time, but that's not what this is about. But I did want to see where you were coming from on the historical accuracies and what you were meant
How many languages can you read the Bible in? Because if you studied it for one language, then you haven't done much study. If you can only read English, then you have done even down to the aspect of a scholar. You can't even be considered a scholar if you can only read one language. So if you're saying that you studied the Bible, then I'm going to assume that you've only studied it in English. And if you've only studied it in English, then you haven't done much study at all.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, but then you can have people that do speak.
Not people, just me and you. Just me and you. Let's not talk about people. Just me and you. We men.
Well, what I'm saying with people and why I'm saying with people is because there are multiple interpretations of
what about
people.
You?
With me, no. With me, I speak English and I read English, and so I've read it in English.
So remember, me and you. Other people are not here to defend themselves. Just me and you.
But we're also talking about our interpretations of it. You're saying I'm missing a lot of you're saying I'm missing a lot of it from not reading it in its original Hebrew. You're saying I'm missing it. And what I'm saying is I've read the interpretations from multiple people who speak Hebrew, and their interpretations are different. And so what I'm saying
you're going wrong. You haven't learned the language. You're talking about other people. The only reason why I said that statement was because when reading Hebrew, you go back into the mindset of the author, the way he intended it to be written, not the way it was intended to be interpreted, as you're saying. 2 Peter 1:20 in English, as you read, would say that no prophecy of the scripture is by any private interpretation. You know, so that's 2 Peter 1:20 in your English Bible.
Depending on the which Bible you're reading, yeah.
Your English Bible, whichever one. If I was to read an English Bible, it would only be the KJV, only because it's the closest that you're going to get to the Kodesh Lashon, or the Lashon Kodesh, which is the holy language. It's the closest.
Yeah. So I mean that again, you're saying that you pick one of the prescribed translations, and what I'm saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You can't put words in my mouth, brother. I'm my own man. I said, if I read an English Bible, it will only be the KJV, only because it is the closest that you're going to get to the Hebrew language. I stated earlier that I don't read the English Bible at all. You know what I'm saying? So when you can't create narratives and put them in my mouth.
I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do.
I'm not trying to, but you're doing it.
Okay. No, see what I'm doing is when you're saying that I'm missing something in translation, and I'm trying to tell you that it has been translated from people who speak the native language and into the current language that I speak, there are multiple translations of it. So you can tell me what you feel is close, but there are other Hebrew speakers that feel differently and have translated it differently than you have, is what I'm getting at.
This is exactly why I keep saying until you learn the language on your own. Number two, what you're saying right now, give me an example. Me being a Hebrew reader, I'll be able to keep up. Explain. When you said, because your statement was there are other people who read Hebrew and speak like me that has translated it, correct?
I didn't say that speak like you. I said who read and speak Hebrew and have translated it differently than what you're saying. Your favorite.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
You have the Old King James Version, you have the New King James Version, you have the NIV version, you have, I don't know all
those
of them.
Those are not translations, brother. Those are transliterations. There's a difference between a translation and a transliteration. So, for example, if I'm speaking Spanish, and if I said, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. Hello, how are you doing? Very well, thank you. But when you transliterate a word, you give the overall idea of what is being said instead of a direct saying. So if I said, hey, I could say in Hebrew, Yehuda Shamar, it can mean Judah guarded, Judah has guard, or Judah will guard. But if in English, if that don't translate, I would say Hu Shemai Shamar, which means I would have to add something there to give the general idea of what is being said or what is being expressed. So when you look at the NET, which is a New English translation, the NWT, the New World Translation, the NIV, New International Version, New King James, Old King James, etc. Those other Bibles were not translated. Now, there are versions of the Bible that was before the KJV, such as the 3 versions of the Geneva Bible, the 1560, the 1587, and the 1599 edition, which was translated from the Latin Vulgate, which is another translation. You have the Aramaic Peshitta, you have the Septuagint. Do you know anything about these different versions of the Bible, brother? What could you
Uh,
tell me about them?
not to the extent that you're speaking, but yeah,
No
back
offense, brother, you haven't really studied to have your opinion about the Bible that you haven't studied.
yeah.
You haven't studied for real.
No, I have studied enough to not find it credible, and I did not feel the need to further study it. So
That's where you made your mistake.
Huh?
That's where you made your mistake. You got comfortable in what you learned. There's other things to learn out there.
Yeah, I agree.
As my statement earlier, the Bible's a Black history book, so you not believing in it, you know, what you eat don't make me shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean that
is a great way. But hey, Jude, I got a question to ask you. You know,
yeah. What's going on?
I've been reading this book, you know, and
Oh,
you know, I got to get my copy, you know. But hey, it's a lot of meat. It's a lot of, you know, good information in there. I made a post today, you know, why is women scared to, you know, to share their men or whatever. But you know, a lot of women, they say, "Oh, I don't want to share my men." But what if your man don't want that? He want to be poly. You know, do a woman really have a say so in that, or is the man too scared to, you know, put his foot down, but like, hey, this is what I want?
All right, so one, I saw the post earlier, and I chose not to engage in it. I chose not to.
I was trying to bait you in, Judah. I was trying to bait you in.
Look, I wasn't even gonna do it because sometimes, man, people gotta be ready to at least be open enough to receive it, even if they don't agree with the lifestyle and culture. I could talk to people of all different cultures, religions, and backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? But as far as I'll first start with the man first, because the men are the leaders. We're the head of the house. As you already know, in chapter 4 of my book, I talk about not robbing the woman of her choice. And the 4 things that I named in there was be upfront, be transparent, be unapologetic, and being honest. So when the brother is being upfront, he telling her beforehand. Like if I just met exclusive, well, we just technically met. If I was interested in taking her as my wife, she would know beforehand, meaning I would tell her up front, not after I done got the pussy, not after she done invested into me, not after, like I think she mentioned earlier that the guy that she was in love with had about 6 more kids or maybe 4 more kids than what she knew about. 6 more kids. That is some bitch ass shit right there. You know what I'm saying? So being transparent, when a brother's being transparent, that means he's clear and he's easy to understand, meaning I won't give exclusive the room to second guess what I'm saying. Why? Because I am being easy to understand. I'm telling her up front, baby, look, to be with me is to share me. You know what I'm saying? So she would at that point make the decision if she wants to do it, if she don't want to do it. Being unapologetic was the 3rd thing that I mentioned, because I teach men, stand on what you believe in. Don't cower down. Don't be a pussy about it. If you want more than one woman, don't coddle her fucking feelings. She needs to know and understand that if she gonna be with you, she gonna fucking show you, and that's that. And if she don't like it, then she can fucking walk. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing, being honest, I mean, don't lie about anything. When brothers can apply those 4 principles, we minimize running into women that say that they don't want to share their man. You know what I'm saying? So if she don't want to share her man, that's fine. What she can do is she can go and deal with Johnny that's going to lie to her ass anyway and sneak and cheat on her any fucking way. You get what I'm saying? Because we know 8 times out of 10, men ain't really being monogamous. You know what I'm saying? They can say that monogamy shit all they want to, but at the end of the day, they lie, they sneak, they hide, and they cheat. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them, but at least about 80 to 85%. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the women's side, I'm talk more about this in book 2. Book 2, I highlight more on insecurities and traumas. A lot of reasons why women would say no to it, besides them being ignorant to it and they not having great examples that they have seen, is simply because of insecurities and traumas. You know what I'm saying? So some women, of course, they look at poly. Well, it's kind of our fault too. I still got to put the blame back on us brothers, because again, when you hear poly, typically it's the swing around fun town. It's the fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's that, yeah, I got this bitch right here. I got this bitch right here. So women see that, and men who don't understand the poly lifestyle and culture themselves, they give it a bad name. Like you could put 10 men in a room that want to be poly, and I can ask them simple questions, and them niggas won't be able to answer. How do you explain to me about the woman's pH balance? What's a normal pH balance for a woman? The fucking nigga don't know. Why? Because he's only thinking about pussy. And if he's thinking about that, then poly ain't gonna fucking work. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna work. Let me specify. Polygyny won't work. Maybe he could do polygamy or polyamory, then he has a better chance at that. You know what I'm saying? But as you already know, TK, I'm only an advocate for polygyny. There is a difference for the listening audience, in case y'all don't know. There's a difference in the poly dynamics. But a lot of it comes from insecurities and traumas and lack of education on it. I won't really go as far to say the scared, only the unknown. You know, but people fear what they don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would more say if it's fear, it's more the fear of how people gonna look at her. Because I talk about that in chapter 6, the backlash the women gonna get, like, oh girl, you done settled. You don't know your worth, or you insecure, you a home wrecker. You know the things that they'll say about women. If you read chapter 6, I talk about the backlash that women will get if they decided it's something that they want to do. I'll end with this. My fourth wife is the oldest out of every one of us. She's about to be 53, and she said in her 50 plus years, she never thought that she would ever be sharing a man at all. But she's the happiest that she's ever been in her entire life. You know what I'm saying? But she goes to say that a lot of the younger sisters would be what you would say afraid of it because they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll end with that in case you got another question, or if anybody got a question, I don't give a fuck.
Anybody any question? Exclusive, you got any question? You the only woman on this panel. Well, for Shy, she up in the comments. But what how do you feel about Exclusive?
This is a situation untouched for me. At the end of the day, I say the same thing. I have texture issues, so we can live together. You can have them over here, and if for some reason I agree to it, me over here. But being intimate with another female as of today,
you don't have to with another woman to be.
That's why I said, or however it's presented. So based off the facts. So if he's saying, with all due respect to you, if he's saying, okay, this is what the situationship is, you can either jump on this ship and aye captain, or this may not be your thing. I may say, oh yeah, I'm with the shits and for the shits, but I'm not trying to live in the house with y'all. I got texture issues. I don't want to eat no. You help yourself. I do what I do. So we here. I don't want to cohabitate, but I mean, if you want to make me a part of that and that's my decision, then sure. But I have stipulations to which I would even consider because of like, and he was dead ass serious because of things I've dealt with in times past. I may have unhealed or PTSD or something to that regard where I don't want to, or those nights may get lonely or whatever. I don't really know. I can't really speak on it because, again, like he said, I don't have a full understanding. I can only under what conditions I want to be with somebody.
She's saying some good shit. And let me tell y'all why. Like, there's nothing I disagree with her on. I agree with everything she said. In fact, my book, you're the perfect person to read the book. Even if you decide that you would never in your fucking life ever want to do poly, book 1 and book 2, especially for sisters like you. I want to go and talk about something that you said earlier. One of the things you mentioned was about, like, so in polygyny, we don't do girl on girl. Mm-hmm. So that's something that will be feasible for us. That's forbidden in our house. If a chick on some girl on girl, her motherfucking ass can walk. You mentioned earlier about, okay, if I make the decision, if I want to do this, brothers, listen up. This is a woman who has not been robbed of her choice, and she say, okay, cool, I'm ready for this. But she mentioned that she would rather be over here and them over there. That's actually a dynamic that does exist. It's called parallel polygyny. There's another dynamic called kitchen table polygyny. So in chapter 1, I speak briefly on it, but I go into a thorough breakdown in book 2. And this is what I said. Parallel polygyny is a term that describes that the wives are not together at all, even though they know about each other. In fact, she won't come over for dinner, nor will she have movie nights or game nights. In fact, she has no interest in meeting the other sister wife or even being involved with her sister wives. And parallel polygyny, each member acknowledges the other. Like, I know this is other woman, but they're not necessarily friends or enemies. I said, and they don't speak to each other. The members have no desire to be close to the other sister wife, and each is okay with this. I said they tend not to live close or even in the same city or country. The last one is kitchen table poly. This is a term of poly which the family may or may not live together. In your case, you said no. I said they come around and have activities such as outings and game nights, visits, cookouts, dinners, and all sorts of family gatherings together. So a kitchen table poly would be, okay, we don't live together, we're not in the same city or the same neighborhood, the same country, but you know what I'm saying, every now and then we go kick it. You know what I'm saying? We might have an outing, we may all have a family night. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sis over here needs some help with some bills. We're gonna go help her and do X, Y, and Z. We a family, but it's more like an extended family. But everybody know about each other, and it ain't no side bitches. I gotta stress that. We don't do fucking side women. That's some pussy ass, bitch ass nigga shit. You niggas can't keep saying that y'all kings and you a pussy and you a bitch and you scared of your fucking woman. You a pussy. So we don't do side bitches and side hoes. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do agree with your stance. Everything you said is true, and I'm telling you, I do recommend you read the book. And I'll end with this. Chapter 9 of my book goes based off solely what the sister was saying, because she was basically in a nutshell saying, like, I can't really speak much on it because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And as you see, my brother has the book right there. So on page 164 is chapter 9, which speaks directly to her. The name of it here, as you see, is educating her and getting her to understand polygyny. Not, oh, I told her about it, she know about it. No, you're getting her to understand it by educating her and giving her the proper tools. She also mentioned about basically her PTSD. This is why listening is very critical, because when women express how they feel about it, it'll often tell you their mindset. So by her having those things, I teach brothers how to bring security and protection to the home. Security is much more than just I pay all the bills or I shoot a nigga if he tries my girl. Security can be the emotional security. Like in my home, we have what's called therapy sessions. So because I value my wife's mental health. So doing therapy sessions, it is a judge-free zone. I allow them to express themselves, and I give them the floor to say, hey, how was your day? Or is anything going wrong? How was things with you and your sisters? Is there anything I can do that I can be a better husband? Is there anything that you can do that you feel that you have to work on? Is there anything that you want to share? What's bothering you? Let's talk about your childhood trauma. Brothers giving the woman a safe space, key word, a safe space to be open, and that she trusts that you value her mental well-being, because that's ultimately is what's going to make a dynamic stronger when you can be with your wife on the mental aspect as well. You know what I'm saying? It's so much to say, but I'm in it with that. But go ahead.
Well, you know, go ahead.
Okay, because now I have questions, right?
Go ahead.
So my first question is, do you love each individual separately? Like, do you have a whole heart for each one of those individual wives?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question, because I've heard people say, well, it's impossible to love more than one woman at the same time, or they have the misnotion that you have to love all of them the same. And that's something I would never claim. You can never love all of the women the same, but what I will say is you have your connection that you have with this woman is your connection that you have with her, and vice versa, etc. So I love each one of them in the lanes that they're in, their proper perspective lanes that they're in. Each one of them is special to me. No different from, like, you might have homegirls. You might get a homegirl that you go to the library with. You might get a homegirl that you can go to a cookout with. You might get a homegirl you go on a vacation with, and you got a homegirl you don't know if you can trust her with some money, but nonetheless, she's fun to be around. And I just know you can't trust her around your man, but I'm gonna keep her at that distance. I will say that each connection that you have with each one of your friends is sort of a replica that I would have with each one of my wives, who also are my friends. They're my homeboys too. They're my niggas. Like we a straight gang. Like, you know, not in a sense that we're gonna fuck your ass up, but I mean, well, you fuck with our family. But what I mean is we a gang, we a unit. You know what I'm saying? We a straight loving family. You know what I'm saying? So each one of my connections I have with them is very special, and I value each one of them, and I love all of them. What you say with your whole heart, if you will. It's just our connections is different.
Okay, so my next question, and then I'll hop off of it so I don't get too good. You're super intense. So do you feel? I mean, how do you work that out? You yourself, how do you divide your energy into that many? I mean, because you have soul ties with each one of these individuals, I assume. So with that being said, how do you divide your energy and your time in that many layers of dimension?
So I don't look at it as me dividing. That's the only word that I would critique. I don't look at it as dividing. Essentially, from the outside view of point, it has the appearance as how you able to divide this. So on page 235 of my book, one of the things I teach is, this is me in this sense talking to brothers. It's relevant to your question. And this is what I said. I said, think about it. If a woman was to be asked, what do you look for in a man? A few things she would tell you is love, attention, security, and time. I said, I want to stop at time because time is big for women. So think about it. When a woman finds out that a man is polygynous, like you just found out that I am, one of the questions she will ask is, well, what about time? Or how is time spent? Or how much time do she get? This is important to them. And if you pay attention to the questions that they ask a lot, it will teach you a lot about a woman's thought process, which means if you can understand how she thinks, you can understand how she communicates, how she moves. So I want to first read that to show I understand what you're essentially asking me. So it's easier for me to divide myself, I would use that word, because we all in the same house. All of my wives live in my home, under my roof for many years. So we don't look at it as being divided. It's more so of cultural. So meaning if how can I put this? We are spending time with each other every day, even down to, if it came down to the sexual aspect, I have a high libido. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to handle poly on a financial, spiritual, emotionally, mentally, and a physical aspect. So I don't necessarily look at it as me as dividing. Let me tell you though, the person who got it the hardest is the nigga that's cheating, because he has to live a double life. That nigga will have about 11 women, and he got to divide his time up. They on different sides of the city. They don't know about each other. And remember, you said that you didn't find out about the brother and his other wife till 2 years after the fact. You know how hard that shit was for him? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that aspect, his job is harder than mine, because everybody know about each other. The women that I chose for my dynamics is okay with poly, which means that it's like, okay, well, I don't mind sharing my man. I know that it's also about me, but it's also about her too. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to respect her time that she has with her man, and I'm going to respect her time that she has with her man. And I know that when I get my man, then it's my man. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's more a question I would love for you to ask my wives, because
my question was more so you and your energy.
Yeah, so like it's easy for me. It's easy for me because we are.
That's what I was asking. More so like your energy. So I know that not so much dividing your body, although that was kind of all within the same ball.
Yeah,
but asking more so your energy, just because I was saying you soul tie. And so although you are all knitly and tightly joined together, there's still different strings that compose that cloth. And so it was more so how do you how do you do that? Because each
Notice
soul,
you did this.
each soul tie, like you said, your heart, you have one whole individual heart for each female, each wife. I don't want to be disrespectful.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so for each wife, so you do have not necessarily divided. My apologies, maybe there was a different word, but it was more so, how do you weave all of that together of yourself?
It comes naturally. From that aspect, it comes naturally.
Because it's easy, because you don't have to like manipulate the situation.
That's like, I believe that some men are born to be poly, and there's some men that are born and they desire it, and they just haven't really been given the proper tools to make it work, because they have not come up under men like me to learn the proper way. But then there's some, because you get some brothers to say, man, I don't know how you doing 4 wives and shit. I can barely handle one I got. Well, nigga, if you can barely handle the one you got, nigga, you don't need one, stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, if you can, if I had 2 jugs of milk and I gave them to you, I can barely handle this milk. Just give me the damn milk. You know what I'm saying? So, but somebody like myself, even when you did this, that was a symbol of uniting. You know what I'm saying? So I've also been asked the question, well, how can you deal with different personalities? And my wives answered us so eloquently. They were like, well, it's not about different personalities. It's about having the right personalities. You know what I'm saying? So because I chose the right people for my dynamic and the right personalities and the right spirits, these people, although they're different individuals, they're me. They're a reflection of me. So I don't necessarily have to divide my energy to me, because she's me. She thinks like me. She moves like me. She talks like me. So I'm speaking and I'm giving my energy back to me.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it. I'm coming out of here while I'm still on float. I haven't been chopped up yet, so I bow out here.
But hey, I appreciate you coming up here. I know you got some stuff that you gotta handle, man. I greatly appreciate you coming up here. Man, hey, I got a lot more questions for you, whenever you have more time available, man. But hey, if y'all didn't know, man, y'all get the book, man. Hey, and like you said, it's I done read it, and it enlightened me stuff that's on my marriage in general. Not just even just being poly or anything about it. It's just you loving your woman and understanding, like you just said, like the mental. Checking her mental and stuff like that. That's something that I have to learn that I do. Hey, how was your day? How was your childhood? Let's get into some deeper conversations and stuff like that. And knowing that you can protect her mentally as well. So like I said, there's some good stuff in it. Just even if you wanna, if you don't even want to be poly, it can still teach you how to value your wife properly.
Facts. And what I will say is, because I do got like a few more minutes, what I will say is, if you can find a brother that can manage 4 women, and well, technically 5, and has been doing this 20 years, surely he can give you information on how you can manage 1. That is extremely easy. It's kind of like the movie Bad Boys 2, when Martin Lawrence was stressed over his woman, and Will Smith said something that's powerful. I still think about it today. He'd be like, shit, nigga, you got it easy. You only got 1 woman to please. You know what I'm saying? So you stress over that 1 woman. So if you find a brother or a sister that's a part of a strong dynamics that can able to cohabit with other women, and those are people that generally you can get up under and learn a thing or two from. You know what I'm saying? So the book is not just for people who want to do poly, like TK was saying. It's also for people that are never consider it in their life. But what I will say is you will be open to some information that you didn't know that existed, and it will answer questions that you didn't even think to ask. I'm very thorough in what I wrote. You know what I'm saying? And book 2 is going to be even more powerful. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
If anybody else got any more questions? So I got one question for you now. Hey, I don't have to keep it 1,000.
Come on with it.
You get 4 strong black women to be on that same page.
Man,
like talking about, these are our sisters. Our sisters are hard to crack.
So I first will start what I mentioned earlier about them 4 things about being upfront, being transparent, being unapologetic, and being honest. I will say that. I also will say from the biblical perspective, because each one of my wives, we share a common goal outside of our poly dynamics, and that's the Bible. So we know and believe in and understand that having more than one wife is not against the Bible. It's only against religion. So you got like church folks that twist scriptures like Adam and Eve. That's a whole nother topic though. No need to go into that. But I will say that the Bible, I submitted to God first. And by me submitting to God and keeping his commandments, then it makes those things much more easier. So it's kind of like one thing I talk about in my book is how the Bible teaches women to submit to the husbands in everything. I teach the men in the book, sometimes women won't submit to you. It's not because she's wicked. It's because she sees you basically as the person who's built his house on sand. In other words, you might hear women say, well, I will submit, but to the right man, though. Mm-hmm. So essentially, that's what I'm saying in the book. And one of the things I teach in the book is, yes, the woman is supposed to listen and obey you, but would you rather her listen and obey you in a peaceful and positive environment, or would you rather her submit in what feels like is a prison? Mm. So the Bible instructs us men how we are to deal with our wife or wives, i.e. loving them as we love ourselves. Colossians 3:19 tells us to husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. That means that excludes out you beating her ass or you belittling her and things like that. So in the book, I teach brothers how to create that peaceful and positive environment, teaching him how to conduct himself in his home, how his mind state should be, and how he should deal with his wife, and how he should deal with the incoming wife coming in. Those things is what I would say. And of course, the unwritten rules of polygyny, by following those things, helps me build that strong foundation. Chapter 8 of my book goes specifically about building a strong foundation from the first wife. Why? Because you get some brothers say, I want 2 wives. Negro, you didn't even build a foundation with the one you fucking got. You already trying to go to fucking 2. You know what I'm saying? So now you done built your house on sand. Now you've been a dumbass idiot at that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like building your foundation, choosing the right personalities, and helping women have a safe space to deal with a lot of their traumas and insecurities. Because when a woman feels safe and secure with you, she gonna rock with you. You know what I'm saying? So 7 times out of 10, if a woman like you gonna rock with you, she ain't gonna give a fuck about you having another woman. She gonna rock with you any fucking way. Some women will want to be with you simply because you got other women. What's so special about him? You know what I'm saying? And that curiosity leads to other things. And before you know it, she's a goddamn wife. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you moving straight, as long as you moving solid, and as long as you're not lying and manipulating this shit, you can build that strong foundation. A lot more women is open to poly today than how it was when I first started back in 2005. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. It's just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Some of it because it's a trend and a phase, but some of them have been cheated on their whole fucking life. You know what I'm saying? So now some of them are 35 plus. They got more than one kid and X, Y, and Z. So when you get around that age bracket, the dating pool gets harder. You know, it gets harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. If you talk to women in that age bracket and you give them the general things like, hey, what are you looking for in a man? Well, I want a man that's financially stable. Well, okay, then, sweetie. Well, typically, we know how that's going to work. If he's around our age group and that woman, he taken. He fucking taken. You know what I'm saying? If he not, that's probably a red flag. You handsome, financially stable, you got a good head on your shoulders, and nobody snatched you up. Shit, he probably got a boyfriend somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So when you it's a fucking red flag somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So when you get in that age bracket, it's like, well, shit. Hey, 80% of y'all women gonna have to fucking share. That's just what it is. Y'all outnumber us 7-1 anyway. So statistically speaking, every woman's not gonna have a man. Blacks account for 12.6% of the U.S. population, but we make up roughly half the people incarcerated in the United States of America. United States of America incarcerates the most incarcerated people in the entire world, including China. So it is safe to say that the people that is 13% of the U.S. population, we're the most incarcerated people. So guess what, ladies? Statistically, you're gonna have to fucking share. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm apologetic about it.
I have a question. Somebody text me and asked me, or they're on my Facebook in the comments and said that they want to know how you divide your finances.
So, all right. So, one, I'm glad to ask that. So we all have different businesses. So my wives had their own money. So I created businesses for my wives. Now I will, the person, if they're listening now, I will, because I'm very transparent. When I first started, I was poor as a motherfucker. I ain't have a pot to piss in and when to throw it out. I was in my grandma's basement. Matter of fact, these are things I'm going to talk about in maybe like book 3 or book 4. There's a misnotion that women won't love you unless you got money. I was broke as a motherfucker. I had shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and they still love me. But to answer the question, we have multiple businesses. They got their own bank accounts by choice. But it would be nothing if we say, hey, look, let's just combine it. They wouldn't have a problem with that either. But we do have an account to where we all have and that we all utilize as well. You know what I'm saying? But we do got our own businesses. Also, for brothers, if you fucking broke, guess what? Credit is power. Literally, I'm going to repeat that. Credit is fucking power. You know what I'm saying? My shit's almost $850. You know the amount of shit you can do with credit alone? Essentially, if you know how to utilize your credit, you don't even need money. That's a whole nother topic, though. We have to do like a finance type of class or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's the short answer to whoever's asking the question about it, which is a great question as well. You know what I'm saying?
Question similar to that, though.
Okay,
like
go ahead.
The legal aspects of like healthcare and stuff. You know,
yes,
being in the hospital. You know,
yes.
The spouse outside of legal marriage might not be able to have access to you. So which one?
I'm glad you asked that.
Which ones are you?
You're gonna love book 2 because book 2 I go over options that a person can have if they run into situations like what you're explaining. So there's a lot of misunderstandings. So one of the things my brother just mentioned was about the hospital. Typically speaking, if you were around during COVID, if you remember, a lot of hospitals was very strict. They wouldn't let people come into the hospital. And some of them, when they were allowing people to come into the hospital, they only let who come in?
The husband and wife.
The husband or wife that was legally recognized. But guess what you got? You got power of attorney. Let's start with that. You know what a power of attorney is? That's just one thing. You also have what's called freedom of contract. Freedom of contract is when 2 or more parties can come together in a mutual agreement without the interference of a government. You also have, like, these are other things I'm gonna throw out there. You have a living will testament. You have trust. You know what I'm saying? So if a person is looking along these questions, book 2 is gonna come out more than likely this year, and I will go over a whole lot of options that a person can have. Also, there are jobs that they recognize, and if you think I'm not, look this up. It's called non-traditional family. Are you familiar with that? Okay, exclusive is a non-traditional family would be, all right, so let's just say, right, your wife is sick, right? And she works for a corporation and she have what's called FMLA. You familiar with FMLA?
Yeah.
Exclusive is, which is family medical leave of absence. Now, to the job that recognizes non-traditional families, guess what? You don't fucking have to be what they call legally recognized as a husband and wife. So there are other things that one can do. You have domestic partnership. If you look at right now, Somersville, Massachusetts, they recognize domestic partnerships for multi-couples. And guess why, brother? Because of 2020, they was going through the same fucking shit that you're talking about right now. So you know what Massachusetts said? Well, even though bigamy laws, that's another thing I'm gonna talk about in book 2, even though The law is we have bigamy laws. Anybody who's not familiar with bigamy, it's just a Greek word which means twice married. That's the general meaning what it is. So polygamy, not to be confused with polygyny, is illegal in all 50 states. But notice I said but there's still things that you can do that you can put in together in place that you don't that will not how can I put this, that will not allow you to break the law. Now, of course, you know, by the law, I have to give my disclaimer. This is not legal advice. All right. So, but Somersville, Massachusetts, brother, look that up. You can anybody watching this, type in Somerville, Massachusetts domestic partnership, and you'll see that I'm on fucking point like a diamond. And what I'm telling you, so there are states right now that are recognizing that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to give everything away. I want you to get book 2, and it'll go into a lot of what you're talking about. Also, you mentioned healthcare in Dallas, Texas. There's in Plano, Texas specifically. There's a company known as Ameriplan. Ameriplan is considered to be like the Costco's of drugs and for medications and like healthcare. So you might got the people that don't got benefits, or you do got benefits. You can utilize Ameriplan, and Ameriplan, you can put up to 9 people in your household, and then they can put up to 9 people in your household, and you can have dental, vision, medical, etc. You also have what's called Primerica, dealing with beneficiaries. Let's say if you have let's say if somebody asks, well, what about if the 4th wife or the 3rd wife, if they ain't like each other and you died and something happened to you, what then? In my book, I'm going to go over a lot of things that you can do and a lot of options that you can have so that you can have the legal protection. So the same legal protection that you can have with a marriage certificate, you can get the same legal protection without one. What we do, I'm Finn the Human, what we have to do as people, we have to start educating ourselves on these things. So there's tons of options, but because we don't know, and because a lot of people are doing poly just for the trend, and there's not too many people that can educate brothers or sisters like you all, then we assume that there's no options. You don't have rights unless you know them. I'll end with that.
That's a fact. Yeah. But hey, and some great knowledge. Hey, today was a little bit different. I know, y'all. We didn't get to the arguments. We didn't get to the debating, but you know, today it's all about information and knowledge and learning and growing. And that's just not only just in just poly. If you want to be poly, it's all about, you know, getting this book. Get the book. You hear me?
Man.
Get the book. Hey,
ProPolyBook.com. ProPolyBook.com is where you can find that book.
Look, get the book, man. It's a lot of meat in there, man. So, you know, hey, I appreciate everybody that come up. Anybody else got any more questions? Hey,
Well,
dude, I gotta ask you a question. This is Poetry Life, you know, and I know that you used to spit bars. You know, I heard that track. It was fire. You know, you got some words in you. Hey, look. This is this has been on my mind for a while. I know you're a good writer.
Yeah.
How about you write some poetry about the truth?
Yeah, I've been open to that, and it's funny that you say that too, because I discovered that I was a writer back when I was 17. I was in school. I did a class called multicultural literature. You know what I'm saying? Of course, by looking at the name of it, you already know what that means. But I had to do a 5-page essay, and we had to do free writing. It had to be free writing. And my teacher in school told me that I was a writer, and back then I didn't understand it. And then I learned later in life what she meant by that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is something I'm gonna put into play, because I am gonna do other books on other topics besides polygyny. I'm going to deal with things like what my brother Finn the Human has been asking, dealing with historical and archaeological evidence and things like that as well. So those are things I want to specialize in, specifically for brothers like my brother Finn, who had questions, and they were all fair questions, might I add. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that us as Bible believers, we owe them answers. You know what I'm saying? So there were fair questions, and I do, Finn, I hope you don't take my passion for anger or arrogance, but I'm just passionate about what it believe. Okay, yeah.
The only thing that I would say is at the end of it, when you say it's a Black history book, so your opinion doesn't make me shit. I mean, that just
Yeah.
comes off as disregarding because of me not being Black. It's the way I take that when you say it like that. To
That's exactly, for the most part, that's what it is. So
yeah.
what I will say is, I do believe something that most Israelites don't believe, that regardless of race, you can repent and worship the God of the Bible. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? But but everybody on the platform, what they eat don't make me shit, whether they believe in the Bible or not. You know what I'm saying? I believe in the Bible from a historical perspective. So the Bible historically is a Black history book. So it's not about color, it's just about the truth.
Yeah, but what I'm saying from my perspective is that shuts down the open conversation between us, because no matter what I say at this point, you're telling me my opinion doesn't mean shit. So
my opinion don't mean shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't ask you the questions if I wasn't trying to understand your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'm gonna give you the facts. So my opinion don't mean shit. So I'm gonna say yours don't mean shit. Mine don't mean shit.
Yeah, I got it. But I'm just saying from my perspective, it shuts down the open dialogue when you say that like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No doubt. But the book I believe in said the heaters of God hears God's words. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, if a person don't believe, I don't really care to dialogue with them if they don't want to hear anymore, regardless of color. So meaning like inwardly, I would have the term of fuck them. You know what I'm saying? But outwardly, it would be okay. I'll engage with you for as long as you want this, if you want it. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of color or regardless of what it is, if a person believes, I'll give it to them. Like there's a scripture in the Bible in Matthew 7:6, and Christ tell you to cast not your pearls before swine. You know what I'm saying? So that in other words, don't give that which is precious to people that are considered to be unholy. You know what I'm saying? Because swine or pig in the Bible is filthy. It's unholy. Today, people eat pork when God said don't eat it. It is not, a pig in the Bible was never considered to be food. You know what I'm saying? So he used that analogy. Don't cast your pearls or your jewels before something that is unholy. You get what I'm saying? But if you were to say, hey, man, look, hey, I'm trying to learn from your perspective. I'm trying to learn this Bible and things like that. Hey, sit on down. Let's rap. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? But I will you didn't ask me questions to get my opinion from how I looked at it. You wanted the facts, and that's what I'm going to give you.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, the facts are the facts are the facts, man.
But
hey,
to that, when I hear somebody say, I have a belief, you do not believe in facts. Facts are facts regardless of belief. So when somebody says there is a belief, I have a belief in this, that means that it is not a definitive fact. That's what I'm hearing anyway.
Unless you basing your beliefs off facts. So in Hebrews 11:1, it mentions what you're actually speaking about faith. It comes from the Hebrew word emunah, faith, belief, or trustworthy, what you believe to be true. So when you look in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, this is what it says. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So for example, wind. If I ask you, what does wind look like? Or can you show me a picture of my voice? You can't do it, but you believe in it. Show me what Wi-Fi looks like. You can't do it, but you know that it's there. Why? Because you're basing your beliefs off what? Facts.
It's not visuality is not necessarily the only way to believe something. And it doesn't have to be visual for me to feel the wind. I can feel the wind. I can see the way the earth interacts with the wind. I can see the way the wind moves things, the leaves in the trees, the grass on the ground, the hair on your head. I can see that. So there is evidence.
I don't have hair on my head, but go ahead.
So it's
that's on my chin. But the same way how you said you can feel wind, I can feel the presence of God.
Okay. And you can, not everybody.
I can't, exactly. Guess what, brother? According to the Bible, it ain't for everybody.
Right.
That is the fact.
So you're right. So we're in agreement. Remember, I told you earlier, we would agree more than what we disagree. I said that earlier. So just like the same analogy that you use, it's the same way. It's no different from how some atheists, they only believe in what's called science, which is a branch of knowledge. I was dialoguing with an atheist one, and I asked him, I said, do you believe
dialoguing now, by the way?
Okay, cool. So for example, do you believe in the book of life, which is how each human being is made up of DNA, 46 chromosomes, right?
It's not necessarily a belief, but it is. I do not have the time or necessarily the desire to go and research it for myself. And so when it becomes so much into a common thing, it's not something I'm going to say definitively, I know 100% this is what it is, but I can look at it and be like, okay, yeah. I mean, if that's what the general consensus is, okay, cool. Until it comes.
Well, you sound more like agnostic, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I believe that everybody is agnostic, because agnostic means you cannot prove one way or the other. And so I believe that either you are theist agnostic or atheist agnostic. I'm more atheist agnostic.
Yeah, but even from that perspective, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we can prove things through eyewitness accounts. Like, do you believe that Dr. Martin Luther King existed?
I mean, to the degree that you're talking about, no, I cannot prove outside of my own perception. I cannot even prove that I definitively do not live in the Matrix. I cannot.
So you don't believe that Dr. King existed?
No, I'm saying I do. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a belief, though. It's something that I have seen the evidence for, that I'm like, okay. But if you were to put a gun to my head, if you were to put a gun to my head and said, prove to me that this actually happened, even though, you know what I'm saying, you weren't there to physically see it, I could not do that with the 100% to the credibility that I would say.
Yeah, but let's be more realistic. We know that the chance of me coming to put a gun to your head and do that, let's keep it realistic. Realistically, we know that Dr. King was killed April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee at the Lorraine Hotel in front of room 306. That is a fact. Around 5:24 p.m. That is a fact, right?
Yeah.
What year were you born, if you don't mind me asking?
85.
So you weren't even born yet, right? But you know that he existed. Why? Because of the evidence, and you know because of the eyewitness accounts, and you know because of photos, right?
Photos, video, yeah, his own written word, yeah. There is a lot of substantial evidence to draw me to the conclusion that he existed. Yes.
What if I tell you that I can do that with the Bible? Historically, I can show eyewitness accounts. I can show photos, which what we call today photos, carvings on the wall. I can show archaeological evidence as well. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to if you're going to believe or not. Because remember, you just said out of one breath that you were atheist agnostic, and you said that you don't believe that, basically in a nutshell, that things can be proven, but you just agreed that Dr. King existed because of proof. So you just contradicted yourself.
Well, I'm not contradicting myself. What I'm doing is I am basing off of that. Yes, I do have faith that Dr. King existed in my sense of reality, but I cannot
evidence of his existence.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it's not a contradiction, because I cannot definitively prove to you or to myself that my reality is even real.
Have you seen evidence of Dr. King's existence?
I already said I had. Yes, I did.
Is evidence proof, or is it not proof?
Yeah. You
just contradicted yourself. So hear me, brother. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. The reason why it might sound confusing is because the agnostic's point of view don't logically make sense. The same logic that y'all got to say, oh, well, we don't know if that Bible. It's the same. It's the same thing that I can use and say, well, then I believe in the Bible. Then, so if you're saying that we can't necessarily prove anything, but you just said that Dr. King, there's evidence of his existence, that's a contradiction.
No. So what you're doing is when I'm telling you that to the degree of 100% factual reality, to it is completely. Everything is a fact. There is no way to prove it. I'm saying it is impossible to prove to that degree. So when I'm saying that it is impossible to do that. That's where my
question. Are you saying that it's impossible 100% to say that Dr. King never existed? Can you 100% say that based off your logic?
If the reality that I think is reality is not,
I'm asking you straight up and down, man to man.
But
Can
that's
you
not
100% certain say that Dr. King did not exist based off the analogy that you just gave me?
okay. Based off the analogy I just gave you, the answer would be no. I cannot say that.
Then, so brother, so now you see why I'm saying
that. Criteria.
Look,
that is
now you see why I'm saying from my perspective how you contradicting yourself.
What I'm saying is not a contradiction if you listen to what I'm saying. It's not a contradiction when I'm saying that the reality that I perceive, the reality that you perceive, we could all be a figment of your imagination to the degree that you're not able to prove it. So there is always something that can be taken as no, that didn't happen. And hearsay is not necessarily great evidence and things.
So
but
if one of us on this platform walked up and physically slapped you, is that a figment of your imagination or that really happened?
No, to me, that would be as real and factual as possible. Yes.
All right then, bro. So what I'm saying is, bro, when y'all give these illustrations and allegories and things like that, bro, I give you the same allegory from the biblical perspective. If y'all gonna hang on that and say, oh well, we don't really know if the Bible is real, then I'm going to show you that your logic don't make sense.
Right. You can do that from your perspective, and then I can say, and you're going to bring up, things like I don't know if you are Old Testament or New Testament, but then you can go.
There's no such thing as what books called Old Testament, New Testament. That's religion.
Okay. Well, we're in a country that's full of Christian religion, so
I don't subscribe to the Christian religion, but I do believe in Christ, though.
Okay.
So remember earlier, you're proving what I said earlier. Brother, you didn't study enough. You looking at the Bible from a religious perspective. If you haven't figured out in 2023 that the Bible is not a religious book, you ain't done no studying at all. The Bible was written by people, to a people, for a people. They were Hebrews that spoke Hebrew, that written to Hebrews. They didn't write to no religion. The word Christian is recorded 3 times in the Bible: Acts 11:26, Acts 26:28, and 1 Peter 4:16. It wasn't a religion. Baptist has come from a man by the name of John the Baptist, and Matthew 3:1. It was not a religion. Pentecost of the Pentecostal church, they based it off Acts chapter 2, the day of Pentecost. That was a whole feast day, the Feast of Weeks. So when I'm saying that to say, if you looking at it from that perspective, you're basing your studies from religion. You can find flaws in all the religions because there's flaws in every religion. Religion will just be as false as the man who made it and the man who continued to keep it. The Bible was never a religious book at all. The word religion is in the Bible, but not to be confused with Christianity at all.
But see, I think that's what I think a lot of people get the Bible misconstrued. They think it's the Holy Grail. They make it as this holy thing that's gonna save your life. They don't look at it as a history book of learning. They telling how we was and what transpired back then. They're not looking at the aspect. They looking at, oh, this is the Holy Grail. When the Messiah walk around, he had this Bible in his hand when the Messiah walk around. So it has to be holy. But that was a lie. There was no Bible back then. So
well, I mean, from the looking at it from the religious perspective. Now, I mean, even reach it. I have not studied it to the extent that you have. So I'm not saying that I'm a scholar on the subject at all. In no means have I even pretended to be. But I mean, even the historical evidence to Jesus' existence. I mean, outside of what Josephus. I mean, what
you gonna say?
I'm saying what outside of Josephus, and I think there was 2 others after the fact, not even during the time of Jesus's life, that he was even mentioned outside of the Bible. And then you have
check your boy out. What you want to do? Let's see. We can go to Imperial Rome. I can start with this one first. So back in 2017, I did a documentary, and it's called Historical Proof of Christ. And there's tons of historical proof of Christ.
As a possible
as a
person
black man, I'm explaining my own words. As a black man that walked this earth, you got historical proof starting with Cornelius Tacitus. Are you familiar with who this man is?
I read it a long time ago. Yeah.
You read what a long time ago?
I read the writings on Josephus. I read.
Not Josephus. I ain't talking about him. I got the book of Josephus, but since you mentioned Josephus, I didn't pick that book up. I want to go somewhere else. So this person who I'm talking about is Cornelius Tacitus. I'm asking, do you know who this man is?
Not off the top of my head. No, it's been a while since I read it.
Cornelius Tacitus. So if you think I'm lying, there's a book called and I got it over to you if you want to call my bluff. It's called Imperial Rome. Imperial Rome records every Roman emperor. And in here, you learn about, matter of fact, I'll even read what it says on the back. It says, one of the most important historical records from classical antiquity. The Annals, now for those who don't know, Annals means records. So the Annals of Imperial Rome chronicles the history of the Roman Empire from the reign of Tiberius in 14 AD, I don't know if you know that, to the reign of Nero in 66 AD. Do you know who Nero is?
Yeah.
Roman Emperor Nero was most famous for what?
I don't know all the details of it, man. Like I said,
He was most famous for blaming the Jews, or a group of people called Christians who were Jews or black people. He lied and said that they burned down Rome. And what happened was they were persecuting Christians, not to be confused with Christianity, but these black Jews by the numbers, and crucifying them on crosses and using them for street lights, burning them for the nightly illumination. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because this brings a first-hand account of the early Roman Empire. First-hand account, not secondary. So Roman emperors is writing about these poor people known as the Christians. And guess who's mentioned on page 216? If you know who Cornelius Tacitus is, you said you did, he was an enemy of Christ. He was an enemy of the people in the Bible. Why would a Roman emperor, the most powerful man in the earth during his time, talk about some poor people that didn't exist? This is what he said on page 216. He says, consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fastened the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated, meaning a group of people that was hated, called Christians by the populace. Meaning what? In layman's terms, the people who was being tortured were a group of people that was hated by the Romans, and they called those people Christians. If you look at Acts 11:26, it tells you that the first time that the disciples were called Christians was at a city known as Antioch. But listen to what it says.
It's not. I'm not saying that in history Christians don't exist. I agree with you there.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Because I ain't answered your question yet. It says, here we go. Class hated for their abominations called Christians by the popular. It says Christus, or Christ, from whom the name had its origins, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilate. Now, wait a minute. Those who read the Bible know that that's John chapter 18, verse 28 through 40. Those who read the Bible know that's John chapter 19, verse 1 through 16. Luke chapter 3, verse 1. This is what it says. It says that Christ, where they got the name Christian from, he suffered a penalty during the time that a man named Tiberius was ruling. You may know him as Tiberius Caesar. This is what it says. It says, during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators. What's a procreator? A governor. Then it says Pontius Pilate, which I also got his letters firsthand detailed in Greek and in English, right on my bookshelf, right fucking now. Then it says, and a most mischievous superstition, thus check for the moment, again broke out not only in Judea, the first source of the evil, but even in Rome. Now let's pause there. They are talking about the miracles that Jesus did, and they called it superstition and they called it evil. Why? Because their gods of Mithra, which is one of the Roman deities that they worship, or Zeus or Zeus, I can go on and on about those deities. The things that the followers of Christ and Christ was doing, they called it evil. Then it goes on to say, it says, accordingly, an arrest was made of all who pleaded guilty, meaning if you said that you believed in Christ, and upon their information, an intense multitude was convicted. So much of a crime as the firing of the city, because I asked you about Nero. He blamed the Jews for burning down Rome. No different from if you look at the thing that happened in Ferguson, in St. Louis, where I'm from. They burn them places down, and they start blaming on them niggas. But you learn later. Well, that's a whole nother topic, though. But anyway, it says, as a hatred of mankind, mockery of every sort was added to their deaths. Covered with the skin of beasts, they were torn by dogs and perished or were nailed to crosses. Sounds familiar, Finn? Absolutely. Psalm 16.
What you're reading is years after the death of Jesus, and so from the studies that I've looked into, and the people that's looking into the historical evidence of Jesus' existence, for the most part, I'm saying that for the most part, historians.
I can do this shit all day, bro. This is a truth you don't want to bark up. Hold on, I'm on your ass.
Historians do agree,
bro. Fuck what they say. Talk to me. Look, fuck them. Talk to me. I'm a historian. I'm a scholar. Talk to me. Here's go one right here. Letters of Pontius Pilate. Did Pilate exist during the existence of Christ? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yes. So would you like for me to go here? Would this satisfy you?
No, it would not satisfy
bro,
me.
It ain't no point. Look, the conversation is over then, bro. If it won't satisfy you, I'm wasting my time with you. Next question.
Look, it's got to that 2-hour mark, man. Like I said, today was a day of, understanding some things that I didn't know, came to realization. And hey, one thing and two things I have to say, you gotta love knowledge. Thanks. At the end of the day, you not wisdom come from retaining knowledge and what you do with it. That is wisdom. Hey. Look,
black people, this y'all Black History book. All right, so it's a new day. No offense, brother, but white folk is not finna stand up and tell us about our fucking book. It's time for us to read our book for ourselves and learn on our own and stop going by what we heard another motherfucker say. This is coming from a person who didn't fuck with the Bible. I didn't believe in the Bible, but I started doing my own research on my own. I didn't listen to what Johnny said or what Chris said. I went and did the research on my own. You know what I'm saying? So here is one right here who existed during the time of Christ. There's tons of research. Don't let nobody lie to y'all. Don't let nobody take y'all crown. Christ is king. He's Lord. He's priest. He's our big brother, and he is our savior. And he's a black man that's going to soon come back for his people, the nation of Israel.
Fire. And that with the said, man, hey, I appreciate you, Judah, for coming up, man. Hey, you welcome anytime. Hey, we love knowledge right here. We love knowledge. Judah the shooter. Hey, also, what? Hold on. I was reading the comic section. Someone said about Mickey D's and wisdom and 2 apple pies, and I couldn't get the correlation, but whatever. But like I said, we love knowledge, and hey, this is Poetry Life. And next time you come up here, man, Judah, hey, we gonna have to hear some of them bars. Hey, I need a poem with some knowledge in it.
Man,
I need you to talk your ish, man. Judah the shooter.
I guess what I will say is, I guess I'll end with this. Well, what I will say, I do a little poetry or something like that. I you know what I'm saying? I ain't no open poet. But what I will say is definitely y'all get the Unwritten Rules of Polygyny. Y'all love the book. Packed with information in it. You won't be sorry. ProPolyBook.com, as you see right there. I guess something that's on my mind, what I would say is I've been seeing a lot about people who's being fake in our community. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I would say is when your ass getting money, niggas swear that you can. But when your ass in the bind, they ain't gonna help you then. They're just gonna tell you they sorry and how they your fucking friend. But when you're dead in jail, that's when they love you then.
Hey, that is a fact though. Hey, whatever you you ain't never lying. Hey, free such and such, free such and such. Man, can I get that support when I was out? What about when I was out?
Yeah.
Why do I on my dying deathbed for y'all to say, oh man, I hope you get well, whoop the woo. Why you couldn't tell that when I was fully healthy?
Facts.
Why something tragic gotta happen in order for me to be appreciated?
Yeah. Oh man, I can't help you, man. You know, you my partner, you know what I'm saying? But damn, shit, you finna go support somebody that won't do shit for you.
No,
that's what I'm saying. So yeah.
But hey, like I said again, hey, I appreciate you having on here. Hey, one thing and two things I gotta know before you get up out of here. What's one positive thing you could tell the people?
Repent. That's a positive thing. Repent from your sins. I will say, cash is king, but credit is power. It's not about how much money you got, it's about your credit score. You can make moves with your credit. So make sure that your credit is always on point. You can move mountains with credit. I don't care if you want to start a business, that's business credit. You know what I'm saying? You can make a lot of moves with getting your credit. You know what I'm saying? As far as the relationship wise for the brothers, love your wives. You know what I'm saying? They're not your enemies. You know what I'm saying? They people too. Their feelings do matter as well. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, if you got you a good man, cherish them, because good men are hard to come by. You know what I'm saying? So I know we grew up in an era of hearing, I can have another one of you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. But realistically, we know that ain't the damn truth. You get what I'm saying? Because Beyonce's still with the same motherfucker. You get what I'm saying? So you cherish your husbands. Sisters, if you got a relationship going for 5, 10, and 15 years and you 30 plus, get rid of that motherfucker. He's wasting your goddamn time. It don't take us that long to know if we love you. You being stupid. You being an idiot. Brothers, if you are with a woman for 10 and 15 years and you love that woman as you say you do, but you haven't married her, you being stupid. You being a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm called Judah the Shooter because I shoot out information and I'm a straight shooter. I ain't gonna cut no corners. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shoot. So I'll end with that positive note.
All right, man. Appreciate you having up on here, man. Until next time, man. And shout out to your family. Hope all is well. Shalom, my brother.
Shalom. Oh, and we House of Judah on YouTube too, as well. So youtube.com/House of Judah. And then Judah the Shooter, which is JUDAH DASHOOTAA. So Judah the Shooter, a shooter. You know what I'm saying? So hope that was helpful. Shalom, y'all.
All right, shalom, brother. So what's going on with y'all, man? Hey, like I said, today was a night of information, poly, religion. Hey, we got a little bit everything today. How y'all feel about tonight? You on mute?
You muted exclusive.
Yeah, you muted exclusive.
I stay in my lane. That's it. That's all I can say. If there's another lane open and it's HOV, I'm over here in my lane. So I don't have anything until we get back where I drive at. Intense. That's all I can really say about it. It's intense. I hope that whoever was curious or whoever wanted to gain whatever wisdom, wealth, knowledge that they wanted was able to do so. I love to see people that are passionate I love to see people who are passionate, period. Again, everybody's perception is their own individual reality. So I understand where he was coming from when he said you have to ask me individually of everybody else. So for his perception and his reality, I love the beauty of the passion he has for his lane.
Right. And you know what though? Like, hey, I appreciate you, Judah, man. But at the same time, like with us being poets, that's how we feel. Like, hey, we sensitive about our shit. Like, hey, spit a poem. Hey, like we had the same passion. Stuff like that. So hey, when I spit my poetry, hey, that's why I try to put so much into it, because hey, I love this. This is what I believe. I mean, this is me. This is what represents me. So when I get up here and spit my poetry, I want y'all to feel every single word that I speak. Because these words are coming from a deep place. So hey, I gotta give y'all everything, the passion and everything. Finn, what's up with you, Finn?
Oh, should I agree? I think he's very passionate. And I mean, he's talking about things he's passionate about, and other people that are interested in what he's saying, man, check him out. He does have a lot of information, but I mean, like he said, man, we disagreed, so we will agree to disagree. So there's no need for the conversation. So I agree with him on that. I mean, we just gonna run flat. So
Look,
But yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. I got a lot of it. It's either people gonna agree or you're not gonna agree with it. And at the end of the day, it's just you learning something new. I learned
yeah.
something that I never knew. So
My only critique to anything is if you're engaging somebody for understanding rather than just to get your point across. So like he was trying it to me it seemed like he was trying to teach more than to understand from the other perspective. And then once I was like, okay, this is my perspective and it's not matching up with yours, he's like, okay, well then we're done talking. So I mean, and that's cool. We're allowed to do, you know what I'm saying? But for me, if I'm going to engage with a conversation, I'm going to see about the information that you have to offer. Not to prove myself right. I don't have to prove myself right. I can listen to what you have to say and disagree and be fine with that.
all right, right. And that's one thing and two things I tell people. It's always good to listen to any and everybody because you never know what type of information, what type of knowledge that people may have and stuff like that. Like one day, I was at the dark train station. I was talking to this homeless man, and at this time, I think I had the interview up on my YouTube channel. I think I took it down some years ago, but I was talking to him and we was having a deep conversation and stuff like that. And like he had a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, even though he was homeless. That didn't take away from what he had learned from his life. A lot of people we look at people like, oh, that person can't teach me nothing, or I can't learn from that person. But you never know what people go through and what people experience and people come in contact with. So we learn from everybody.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Hey, I ain't forgot about Sha. Hey, Sha, come back to the mic, man. Hey, before at the end, before we end everything. I appreciate you being a part of Poetry Life, talking and listening and everything. But like towards the end, we like to leave with a poem though.
Okay. Y'all want to hear? Let's see.
Give us
Let's
one of those fire ones.
okay. Let's see. All right. This one is called Karma.
All right, let's go.
Hi, I'm Karma, and I don't care what you had to say before I told you who I was. My scent is charming. My attitude is you did it first. And good deeds are for those looking for a pass, pissing this cause I got brought over your threshold and got shown what crazy look like. I'm the recent type. And because families stick together, I'm wrong. But I pulled your card. Your demons hate me, but that's cool. But your healing would come quick when you snap out of it. Hi, I'm Karma.
Okay, okay, okay.
Quickie. I love them.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
We like our quickies over here though. We like our
Yeah.
quickies. You know.
I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to elongate some of my quickies, but
Yeah, I got a couple that's quick, so I just had to like add to it. Like, there's another one. Y'all want to hear it?
of
Yeah.
course.
Go
All right.
on.
All right. Let's see. It go. Gifted, no secret. See, I prayed for days like this, running for the food in the back of the truck to giving out free meals, no deals, bullying people for food. I used to knock over lunch trays, punchline, savage. See how I can play with words? See, I used to be scared when I was a kid. Now I'm bringing haters, all that hate they used to bring to my bed. It's only right I stay up writing raps. I was 16 in the basement listening to horror stories. Now I write them. My suspects wanted me dead, can't breathe. Now they wishing they did. Stirring the pot, all seasoning. Blackout be the mission if I say please again. Thank you,
Fire, fire,
guys.
fire. Hey man, look, I'm at to spit one, man. Like, hey
Yeah,
man,
go ahead.
like we
You know I gotta give one, man. You know I gotta do
Oh
something.
my God. All right. Everybody got one. I'll do my new one. So go ahead, y'all.
Go
okay,
ahead. Go
okay,
ahead.
let's go.
As a child, I wasn't allowed on the side of town where the vampires taught you to count. Odd as it sounds, I've been sheltered from where the devils and the monsters abound. Zounds. You got to be wary of zombie Lincoln and ghouls and laser guided sharks on the deep end of pools and watch over your flocks because sometimes under the sheepskin is wolves. But when I'm alone in my room, I've been known to howl at the moon, a deep-seated love inside that halogen plume, something beautiful that the murder of crows can sink their talons into. Helped by a talented few, champion stallion gallantly galloping through heaven's heavy battalion and the rapscallion crew. I've now got skeptical battlements and armed with malleable truths, roots deep in anarchy, abandoning alchemy and enrolling in falconry school. And it allowed me to cross a name off a list of things I don't get to do often, and it came with a gift for the king. Like Christopher Walken, talking like a cat in boots.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Hey,
I like that flow.
Hey, how you feel about his flow though, man? It's
Your
different.
flow is nice. It's nice. I like his flow.
Hey, that's nice. Champion, man. Excuse me, you want to go? Or do you want me to go? Then you end it with yours.
No, I don't have to. I can go. All right, she knew, so y'all getting her raw. Yes, I'm calling her, Finn.
You always do.
I know you was gonna say something. It's called Time Will Tell, and I promise you, this thing wraps up like everything everybody has said today. So I'm kind of excited. I can't control time, but I can get face to face, close enough to tell it. I don't have to scream or yell it. Time speaks for itself, but it will never repeat itself. Did I just clock your attention? Good. Now, count backwards with me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, I won because I just wasted 5 seconds of your time for fun. No, but seriously, I'm just playing. And unlike time, let me rewind. I ain't no snitch, but I got time to tell. But only time will tell. Like Rolex on deck, I got time for sale. And you're going to always get more than what you paid for. But just so we're clear, you can't buy me, so don't even try me. I'll let that ship sail right by me. I ain't one of them hoes, you know. That's called overflow. However, I just might be a PIMP, putting bitches on a stroll. As in, I'll get up and roll. Because if you ain't making or bringing me positive vibes, laughs, or energy, then it's absolutely fuck you, pay me. What's it going to be? Out your ass or out your wallet? You're on borrowed time like the liver of an alcoholic. I'll even let you flip a coin, heads or tails. I'll even let you call it. It's time to stop writing rubberized checks that your ass can't cash. You just bounce. You don't even make sense. Nor am I here. I'm here because I'm seeking recompense. I'm talking about investment bonds, life insurance policies, or even US dollars and cents. Like hands on the clock, every second, minute, and hour goes around and comes back around. So depending on karma, she says how fast or slow she wants your inevitably countdown to the rest of your life be. I know, she's a bitch. Again, I can't control time, but I can manage it. I'm a great planner. I document, record, and catch all the bullshit like a highway patrol scanner. You're not that quick. My mental recall is like an undercover speed trap. That's why I'm a beast with this clapback. I don't get ready. I stay ready. My time is precious, like falling sands of an hourglass, or like my wasted ass after a refill or two in my wine glass. I just told you time and time and time again. Once you wind me up, don't try to ring the alarm. Me and my crew, we are the bomb squad, and we walk arm to arm, you silly rabbit. I'm dancing on your ass like a TikTok. However, I'd rather stop, watch. While you go try to tell time what this is all about, time is already on my side, and you just ran out. That's that piece.
Oh, I like that. I like to the end and how you just okay. I like that. I like the whole clock scheme all throughout the poem. That was fine.
Thank you.
Time and clock and watch and telling. Yeah,
the whole scheme about all the clocks throughout the whole poem. That was fire though. That was fire.
Thank you. I have fun with the countdown and wasting 5 seconds of your time.
Yeah, that was fire. I like that.
I have fun with that on my own, to my own self.
Exclusive. When you go back and watch this, you can see I was counting down with you. Thanks for wasting my time.
Okay. I'm like, okay, all right. That's how you gonna do it. You cool? Had me thinking in my head like you was getting to a point or something and made me look crazy. You cool? Alright.
Go
Well,
TK.
well, this poem, y'all, y'all heard. I haven't went over in a while, but let me get to it. What is my purpose in life? Shit, I don't know. I've been trying to figure that shit out. At one point, I was the violent type, quick to go off like a pass through light bill. I just black out. Violence and street shit is all I knew, like 2 plus 2. Then I grew. Start going to church, start praising the Lord for getting me through. And then when I look up to the sky, I be waiting for God to say something like he did in the Bible days. Because I had questions I have to ask. Like, if we was your chosen people, why in the hell do we become slaves? Why did our family was torn apart? Why was our rights stripped away? But you paid away. But to be honest, I should have been dead in broad day shootouts with no regards for my safety, like a full out blitz. You know how many times my life was at risk? It just made me sick just thinking that the streets was the way of life. I didn't realize that's why all these demons I had to fight. So I stayed watching my rivals with a scope that's attached to my rifle. As I was told to keep my friend close to my enemy closer. But what is the enemy? Is the enemy praying to the wrong entity? What a loss of energy. See, I asked a question to give an answer. I got charged twice. In my mind, I'm thinking about, isn't that double jeopardy? But they told me that Jesus was light. Then I realized that was bullshit because I found out Jesus wasn't even white. So they forced us to believe that if heaven is the ultimate goal, and they told us to believe in the white Jesus. And that was a lie. The foundation was wrong. So how can we achieve that? And I know what y'all thinking. That's blasphemy. But I'd rather put more trust in my partner that had my back that will blaspheme. What kind of referee is good and evil? In this world, there's never equal. Like judging people. We became prey like rats to eagles. We became reruns of old episodes, just repeating sequel. See, street life took me fast until they had me locked down 23 to 1, doing push-ups until I saw the sun. Then life had changed and I got married and had a son. But wait. 2 years later, the DNA test proved that my son wasn't my son. You know how badly that I wanted to pick up a gun? But I guess it was my fault because I wasn't the best husband. And Karma was a bitch, and I guess she chose her side like a best friend snapping her fingers. See, my life felt like Jerry Springer. But my eyes are open because I filed a divorce. I vowed never to get married again because of the hurt. But life is funny like a pitbull in a skirt because I'm married now. So I had to believe in the Most High because I took a leap of faith and I landed to both feet. And I told myself that I won't take defeat. So I pushed towards my dreams and my ambition. I started life and stood in my position. Who knew that I came from whipping pots in the kitchen? So I found my purpose, understood my purpose, and realized my purpose is my purpose, and I'm only scratching the surface. So when they close the curtains, I know I fulfilled my purpose. Now that's purpose.
Ooh, nice.
Thank God. That was purpose. That was purpose. Though. I need to get that right. I'm gonna keep on reading it, but hey, it's
No,
fire.
it was fit. We
It was.
started off with these last poems. We started off with karma, and then we ended up with karma. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's literally why I said that. I said, "Oh, between time and karma." I done heard it about 30,000 times, and they don't even understand. It's all interchangeable right now. So that was dope, everybody.
Right. That was.
Hey man, go ahead and give out your handles before we go ahead and get up out of here. Shy, on you. Go ahead and tell the people about yourself and where to find you at.
Okay, I'm on Instagram. Y'all can find me at Sha SHA_raw RAWW. That's my Instagram. I'm on Instagram posting a lot of different stuff, like events. If I'm outside performing, wherever I'm at. If I'm at venues and stuff like that, I post a lot on my Instagram. So that's my Instagram.
Okay. Feeling human.
And you can catch me on MySpace. But no, no, Phineas Scientist White on Facebook, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to Black Room Media. Appreciate y'all checking in live. Real Talk with the Poets. Friday nights we have Poetry After Dark, man. Last Friday was dope as fuck. Make sure y'all check that out, man.
Okay.
An exclusive.
What's good, y'all? I am your girl exclusive. I keep it 100 because anything less is somebody else. I am your host of Poetry After Dark every Friday night at 9 o'clock p.m. We want you to come through. I say take your shoes off, relax. Let us entertain you. We want to be entertained by you. We want to be fans of each other. There's no big eyes, little T's, no none of that. It's just us. It's just we. We be. So make sure you stop by. Again, make sure that you're here on Sundays, 7:30. Real Talk with the Poets. You see, it gets intense. Shout out to our guests that pulled up tonight. From my heart to you, I appreciate every perspective, every wisdom nugget, every transparent moment, every piece of work, every piece of you that you share with me and that you share with us, speaking on our behalf, if I may. So we absolutely appreciate you. I know at least I do. And I know if my family's like me, then again, we be. So shout out to those who haven't pulled, who weren't able to pull up tonight. Shout out to our the rest of our poetry team, the Dawn, Zoe, Nikki, Justice. We still thinking about you. We thank you, Pastor Curry, for pulling up when you did. Just anybody that McFan, when you pulled up, we love y'all. You know what I'm saying? We gang out here. So it is what it is. Again, one last thing on my way out. You can definitely find me TikTok under exclusive reign. I'm goofy for real. So you'll see some poetic stuff, but you'll also see me showing my entire ass. Because again, I'm goofy for real. And you can find me on Instagram and find me on Facebook under Melissa the Exclusive. And like I always say, if you can find any one of them, then you can find me, and the same. If you can find me, you can find them, because we are we.
And and saying that, we did September 2nd, we have an event. It's at Glen Kitchen. I'm throwing out the flyers maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna get done with the flyers and push them out. But hey, be prepared to be entertained. September 2nd, it's our grand opening. Hey, we about to shake the building of Dallas, man. Poetry Life. Hey, we coming. Hey, we coming. Hey, one thing and two things. Hey, when we come to New York, you're gonna have to show us where we need to be at. We need to know the open mics night. Hey, we pulling up. Trust and
Right,
believe me.
right,
When we pull up,
right,
we looking for you because we trying to set New York on fire.
Oh,
right.
New York. What part of New York?
I'm in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn right now. I'm where like a lot of the open mics be.
All right, bet. I have to find you. I'm from the DMV. So when I go home, you're closer. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So I'll
definitely.
definitely have to look you up. If you can, for me, because I always ask, can you drop your info in the private chat? Because we
Okay.
have so many shared lives that I can't find everybody. I ain't going to hold.
Okay, so let me see the private chat. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go over there and drop it, then I can go ahead and pull you up. Don not here to make fun of me because I'm going to say on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, we got something real dope coming. We working on some fresh materials, some raw material to give y'all September 2nd. So, be prepared to be entertained. Hey, if like I said, if y'all like what happened last year, this gonna be that times too. So let's get it on. And y'all already know, look, it's TK the Poet, you already know, so you ain't gotta quote it. If I spoke it, you already know what that means. Yeah, I wrote it. And plus, I'm too fire. Like a
Mm.
light in a match. Yeah, that's too fire. And we out, y'all.